Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift EMEA Live broadcast of the Zwift Racing League, presented by WTRL. We're in the week number 4 for this season 3 of the 2022 year, and we are out with the East Division for the men's A, and the sprints are just about to actually get underway for the first kickoff here. We are on the Richmond course. So we're going to take a look at the course. We'll have a replay of the first sprint as they get out here. I'm really excited actually about this division we're about to watch because we've got some of the strongest teams. Team WLC is out here as well as the Dutch racing team. I believe BL13 is in here as well as Z Yermer. I mean, tons of really top teams that we actually haven't covered yet in this season. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But this course, Dave, you're really familiar with this course because you were there in real life a few years ago when and why it was launched out on Zwift.
Yeah, it's interesting. Great to see you, Nathan. This course, when you look at it, 2015 was a huge year. They raced it collegiately, actually, before the World Championships even happened as a test event, kind of like today, in that they didn't do circuits up Libby Hill. They finished there. And that's the story. This is really different than the World Championships, is the fan flats, and that's with an F, not a P. I always thought it was pan flat for some reason. I'm going to have to investigate why we call that fan flats there, but it's 5 laps. You've got fastest through segments, you've got sprint points, but it's a sprinter's delight. As a matter of fact, it doesn't get better than that for the sprinters. The only problem is the finale, as we're taking a look at the course right here. So today's going to be 32.9 kilometers of racing is what I had, so right at 33K. Again, you can see that they sprint 5 times at Monument Avenue, and there's fastest through segments, and then Broad Street is really the journey that you make, and then that transition at about 24K into this race, you start shifting. You can see that long downhill there, Nathan. You know that well, as that'll bring you down to the launch pad for Libby Hill, where it all goes down. We can talk about bike choice out here today. I think going with a Tron is sort of a no-brainer, to tell you the truth, especially if you want to be participating in sprints, fastest through, and the finish. And also the power-ups, Nathan. And when you get those power-ups, that's a big part of what makes Zwift racing so much fun, the gamification out here. Arrow, draft, burrito today. So I'll throw it back to you. That's a good look at the course. But again, a sprinter's delight today with a little bit of a nasty sting in the tail.
100%, and very familiar course to a lot of our racers out here. And as you said, this thing in the tail going to be interesting how it sets up for Libby alongside of all the sprints. Well, we do have a video in from Cy Bradley himself over on YouTube, and he's telling us all about how to take on this course.
Hey Zwifters, welcome to Richmond for the Libby Hill after party. And despite the name Libby Hill, this is a sprinter's paradise. So roll out the quadzillas, bring out the big guns, let's get our sprint on. No need for Anna Russell's whiteboard this week because there's just 3 segments to contend, albeit the first segment we're going to do 5 times. We're here on the fan flats and it's the Monument Street forward sprint, 220 meters, all about power, all about speed and all about great timing. But watch out for those splits that could happen later on subsequent laps after this sprint. 3 power-ups along the way, the aero, the draft and the dreaded burrito, disabling that draft for 10 seconds, everyone with a 2.5 meter radius. Once we've done this 5 times, we're going to head to the Broad Street sprint. And again, we're going to do this once, but there's fastest through and first across the line, before we then descend Broad Street and head towards the infamous Libby Hill cobbles. And here it is, the final segment, the infamous Libby Hill cobbles. The segment itself is around about 700 meters, but it's this part here, the final 300 meters, where the final and the winning moves are going to come. Utilize those power-ups, utilize that power, put it all on the line to maximize the finish line points, the fastest through points, and first across the line points on this, the finish line and final segment of the Libby Hill after party. Good luck and ride on.
Big thanks to Cy for putting those together. If you want to check out Cy Bradley for a longer review of his he does a little bit of more of a course recon that are about 9 to 10 minutes long each time. Great job by him over on YouTube, and big thanks to him for throwing those quick little looks at the course together for us. So the boys are out on course for the East Division. Dave, I'm excited for this. They have actually had a little bit of a interesting sprint we just saw throw down. With WLC taking it down with Diaz off the front. We'll get a replay of that in just a moment. But as you can see here, it's already starting to drop some riders off, as we did say Hopstadius there off the back. Dutch Racing now making a move immediately here, Dave. On this little a bit of an uphill jaunt. It's only about a 1 to 2% gradient, but every lap, to be honest, I get a little bit antsy in my legs every time we take on that first little left-hand cobble on every lap of this upper area. I always want to see if it will break things apart. And as you can see, many other think very similar, Dave.
And that's the racer in you, for sure. And you can see it does make things rough at the back of the group. It's always interesting, and I agree with you, Nathan. You're always looking for that launch pad out there, aren't you? Boy, it is very active right now. Again, the sprints are fast and furious out here today, and these points are going to be critical. The points that you stack up can take a lot of pressure off of your team for the finale by the time we get down to Libby Hill. So here we go. Already 8K in, just to recap for you. It's 33 kilometers of racing out here today. But these circuits here on the Fan Flats, Nathan, on this Richmond course, the sprinters haven't had it better than this in a long time.
Quick little look here at how it went down for the first lap, actually. We do see Diaz was off the front and made an early attack about 500 meters to a K before this. Took down the sprint easily. I mean, that's
well done.
Solid. I mean, that's like 100 meters, maybe 200 meters there, Dave. That was really well done there by Diaz. And as you can see, then it was Navimil out of Spain. Carluck from Dutch Racing, I think, coming through from third across the line. Now, fastest through segment, though, is still a big part of the conversation here, Dave, isn't it?
It sure is. And I was going to ask you about that, Nathan, whether you thought that comes early in the day or later. And I think maybe part of it is what's happening around you, the environment that you're in. And again, going back to that power up, the power up that you have, if you've got the draft power up and you time it right, something you know well, Nathan, is that it's slipping through the cracks there to win that fastest through segment. And with 5 shots at it, that'll constantly be updating here. It's one of the real charms of racing here. I have to look at this action right now, though, Nathan. Look at this. Wahoo Lacole is in fuego out here today, as this is going to be Fernando Diaz again. So Nathan, this guy is certainly in a bid for our 5K hero here. Wahoo Lacole is one of the most international teams that we've got in this race. Nathan, I was wondering if you had noticed that, how the symmetry of the flags here is so many of these teams, like the Punchers Club is all French. We've got an Italian team, a couple of all Swedish teams, all Belgian teams, all Spanish teams. It's very nationalistic as far as the way the teams are grouped together. A lot of times in Zwift, you see what Wahoo does, which is a real mix of nations here. And Fernando Diaz is actually flying the Ukrainian flag here in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. Going back to the action, though, Diaz, Nathan, he's been lighting this one up so far.
Yeah, it takes down 2 fastest, first across the line there. Nice job for Diaz. That's going to bump him up to 20 points. Hasn't updated just as of yet for our data. As soon as that does come through, there's going to be a big change actually in his results. Now, with fastest through segment there, 20, 15, and 10. Phone, though, having that 7 points does bump him up to 17 for the standings currently, just ahead of Lejeune, and then Worm is there as well with 7 and 5 respectively for a total of 12, tied with Bradley there at 12 as well. So it does look like at the top right now, though, if we do look at the men's standings real quickly here, we do see that BL13 Watt Bombs at 60 points currently. Wahoo Lacole holding down at second place right now with 55. SC Ur is going to be in third place. All the way, Peter Z, though, all the way in fifth. In between them, we do have the Punchers Club that you were talking about there. They are currently down there in, it looks like, ninth on the point stands right now, with only 4 so far through the first sprint. As we wait for that second one to come through, I think it'll update for a little bit better on them. But Peter Z with Navamil, and then there's the update. Still Peter's the only with Navin Mill at the top. And they're all the way down in fifth. So this is a good day for them if they can continue on to try and hold this down. WLC falling, actually, Dave. And the SZ, I think, are so far getting the better of everybody.
Yeah, how about the Watt bombs not off to their normal storming start out here? You can see they've got a perfect score. Thanks for all that data, Nathan. That really gives us a great feel for where we're at. This is really the big dogs, to tell you the truth. EMEA, that stands for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So this is, of all the divisions here, our mixed men's Division 1, and then we're in with the Ace. I don't know, Nathan, that this season, you might not know offhand either, as you do such a great job, to be honest, of covering as many different divisions and categories as possible.
Have we
been
not
in
covered
with these
this
guys
one?
before?
We have not covered these guys yet, actually, because we try and do as best as we possibly can across the entirety of the season to get every division that we can. And so these guys kind of got skipped over in the scheduling only to make sense of the scheduling so that we weren't on top of each other. So essentially, it was, we did that 11:30 my time, Middle East, and then jumped right on over to more of a Central, and now we came back to the East. So yeah, that's how that ended up playing out. But yeah, this is our first time taking a look at them. And now BL13, I mean, I'm excited for this. This is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, though.
Yeah, and clearly, so really you can just look at the way the table sets up. BL13 has been untouchable. They've been the Elliott Ness of this so far. But today it looks like a different story. We've had a great season so far here in 2022. Looks like the Swedes are rampaging as well right now, Nathan, because you see their jerseys really not up on the board. John Vedem is there. He's a super racer, real superstar in esports. Actually, I apologize. They're doing just fine. I missed Legend there. So the Swedes are doing excellent, to tell you the truth. My apologies to our Swedish friends. I saw Martin Björkvik, sending a shout out to you, Martin, is down in Spain right now enjoying some sunshine and some 28 degrees Celsius days as we take a look at the BL13 jersey. That's the yellow.
20. Did you say 28?
Hot. Yeah, al caliente, Nathan. Yes, a little warmer than Wisconsin right now. So are you expecting a little something from BL13? Should I be nervous, Nathan? I feel like there's a ticking sound coming from the corner, and it might be a time bomb. I think these guys are planning something, to tell you the truth.
It's interesting to see. I would not be surprised one bit if they are waiting to throw down their Watt bombs. So and they've just kind of allowed WLC to have these early points, and they're just waiting for the right moment to pounce. I mean, that's kind of BL13's go-to, isn't it? I mean, they are very tactical. Exactly, they've timed it, and you don't get to a point where you're sitting at the top here with 60 points undefeated without having those kind of tactics up your sleeve. Now, obviously, Wahoo Nicole, they're taking the bull by the horns here early on and really making a statement on this course. And there's also the reality that this is a sprinter's delight. Perhaps BL13 have taken advantage of how hard the courses have been for a certain type of racer. I mean, the courses so far in the ZRL season have been some of the hardest we've ever seen, have made some of the best racing we've ever seen. Now we've got something where it just opens up, as we're about to see here with Olsen trying to lead this out early on over and over and over again. Diaz giving it a go again here, Dave, but maybe this isn't exactly what BL13's wheelhouse is as we get into our next sprint.
Well, very, very interesting commentary there. Let's see if this is going to hold on. This again is Olsen here, the Swedish Swifter. If there you go. BL13 now comes with the throttle all the way open. They're going to put a couple riders up in the top 5. All right, Nathan, this might be a turning point in the race. Look at all the yellow on the front, and that's going to be Dutch Racing's Karluk coming through. And I think Karluk might have just snagged on at the line, but either way, a lot of points there, and that was very, very quick, Nathan.
Oh, man, that was so close, actually. And BL13 making me eat my words a little bit, I feel like. And they're saying, well, you
They
think
sure
we
timed
don't
that
got
well,
it,
yeah.
right? Eldon heads right to the front and says no, gives it a go on the replay here. We also see his teammate English trying to hold on for third. We'll see if he did so. And then Dutch Racing with Carlick maybe just nipping it at the line. Oh, it's so close, Dave. We'll wait for the points to come on through. The ladies have started. We'll go ahead and take a look here at the side-by-side to see how that's playing out as we got to look at that replay. We jump in with Coralie Arthur. BBB, the Canyon Beta team is out here as well. We see Revo, Rave, Team SZ, Coalition, Abus Lacole. This has been one of the best divisions I've ever seen for women's racing with such head-to-head battles. Aeonian, WLC, it just doesn't get much better than this in the community. One thing to highlight, I do not see Beast Mode showing up here today. And I wonder if that has something to do with knockouts tomorrow. And
mind.
they are leading, at least not leading, but they won their division. The thing is that some of the Aeonian ladies are here, so it'll be interesting to see. I'm not seeing a lot of Rose Beast Mode out here. I do see one. Dora is out here, so there is one Rose Beast Mode, but I'm not seeing many other jerseys showing up.
Well, I completely agree with your take on that. Is the knockout formula has been fantastic, and we're moving into elimination racing, one-on-one elimination racing tomorrow. I hope you can join us. That's midday, depending on where you are in North America. Although I realize, Nathan, this broadcast is worldwide. It's probably even better to use the British Standard Time there of it's 7 at night-ish, so 1900 hours there. But either way, you can track it down and find it. Now, this women's group, you mentioned Coralie Arthur. She's a breakthrough rider. It's been so much fun to watch. And this is, I would have to say, one of the most exciting group of racers put together that I've seen. I do see, Nathan, you're 100% correct on that. It looks like 3 starting for Rose Beast Mode today. So definitely a diminished squad. Cindy Friebel, Eva Marie Dorer, who you mentioned, and then Sarah Karoulis are on that squad. So, boy, that's starting on the back foot on a day like today, especially when you look at how strong Canyon Beta is as well with Amanda Argue, Hannah Johansson. Mikey Vanderplas has been another breakthrough rider, the young phenom, Philippa Draper, and the legend herself, Siri Hilden out of Norway. So, Nathan, the women on the exact same course, exact same point schedule. It's going to be absolutely fantastic what happens out here. Again, there's 7 opportunities to get power-ups for the riders. I think the draft and the arrow are going to be the big ones. But the burrito, I mean, at the very end of the race, if you get stuck with the burrito and you can position yourself behind your team sprinter, your team's top hope, well, you could open up a little bit of an opportunity there by being a sweeper and creating that gap behind the runner. So burrito's not useless, Nathan.
No, not at all. I think the cool thing about the burrito is your ability to use it in a way that puts other people in on the back foot at certain moments that are just absolutely crucial. And the burrito is a very offensive power up. It's a very offending at the end of the day. I mean, because it's this
creates
area
a
of
gap.
effect.
Yeah,
it's this area of effect that you have this expectation. The experience of it for me, actually, this past weekend in the Electric Spirit Co. race where we do this appetizer of this course, there's no points or anything, but you get a feel for what it's like. And I just remember seeing that burrito during each one of those sprints and thinking, shoot, I don't have a draft right now. My expectations need to change. I need to go harder where I really have this other. So it's just kind of, it's not only, it's really annoying. First of all, it's like, what they're, and then on top of that, like if like a whole team pops burritos one after another, if they really put those in succession, you end up with, 30, 40, you end up with like a minute and a half of no draft whatsoever if you're around this team. I mean, it can be extremely difficult to another team that's expecting to just use their drafting ability. So burrito definitely if used well. Now I don't see a lot of teams using it well necessarily, or using it to what I would think would be the best use. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these teams start to think a little bit differently about that power up. Now, this is the sprint that we just saw play out. This was an interesting one, as we did see KC take over earlier. Rose Beast Mode was involved early on with their one of their sole riders. Well, I think maybe one of three that are out here today trying to get involved. Looks like they fell on backwards here. Daniel Strat there from Ionian trying to come on through, but it looks like M. Nyquist coming through from Revo with Heard Zedson out of Finland there as well, really involved in that sprint. So a couple of newer names making their way to the front end of the first sprint. We'll get an idea of where the standings are as well in just a second, but the men are actually just about to take on their next sprint. This racing is going to come at us fast and furious all day because there are sprints after sprints after sprints, Dave, and then right on over to Libby Hill. So it's going to be a quick one as we go across all of our coverage.
Yeah, they have 5 different opportunities to sprint at Monument Ave, and that's what we've been watching. There's one run at Broad Street. There's 7 different opportunities to pick up power-ups out here today. That Broad Street, Nathan, that's going to be one crack at the fastest through segment there as well. So it's going to be interesting taking a look here now. Wow, look at the throttle all the way open there as we're going to be scoring this one. It looked like Carluck again. Very, very active out here today. He's been gobbling up the points there.
There's actually a break, Dave. This is my fault. I missed it.
Johansson up the road. Is that right?
Diaz and the whole group. That was a group sprint with a break for the points.
Well, that was
actually
the last points available.
Yeah, so my bad
sprint,
on that
right?
for missing. They probably went over that little bit of a bump we were talking about a little earlier. We were over on the women's coverage there for a minute and just missed where this went down. I'll see if I can find it in the replay because I think I can actually see where that actually went down in just a moment here. But this is serious, Dave. 12 seconds up the road, 14 seconds, and there's enough teams represented here. I don't know if there's going to be any chasing going down.
And some big names as well. Hey, Nathan, I'm gonna cut you some slack. This is what happens, folks, when you start trying to cover more than one bike race at a time. As the action, very often it's happening at the same time in different races, and so again, that's where 2 races really becomes a lot to do. Anything more than that, it's impossible to follow the storyline, and that's why it's so nice to be able to get in with this group for the first time this year. As we see that they've just got one sprint left here at Monument before they head out. It's a long downhill drag before, and I have a feeling there's going to be old school fury with some attacks I would expect before we even get to Libby. But that's still to come. I'm kind of looking into the future a little bit because we've got a really interesting race situation now. So Carluck here has been one of the best sprinters. That's being proven out here today. We've got Weir here. That's the BL13 rider. BL13, Nathan, has 2 riders in this group, I believe. Let me make sure I'm right on that.
There's 2 riders for sure.
Both on Tron bikes, right? Moving to the front right now. Dutch has 1. Swedish has 2. Looks like Peter Z has 1. This is a really interesting mix. Wahoo Lacole has 2. So, Nathan, definitely they're going to make it to the next sprint by my estimation. Do they make it all the way to the bottom of Libby Hill?
Well, now look at this. Italian Dev is heading to the front here as well. So they've got 1 involved. Oh my gosh, what is BL13 doing? Eldon's at the front with 7 watts per kilogram.
Oh, this is a chase.
I'm confused. I mean, they have 2 in the pack up front. Now, okay, is this just next level tactics? Do they just have enough people?
This is like betting against yourself. I honestly think that what they're doing is planning on countering after the next sprint. Sprint comes up.
Bradley's going across here. Look at this. He's got a gap though. So they have a gap, but it's just going to instigate a chase here. I don't know. Look at how many BL13 are at the front though. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're putting 5.
Team.
The whole team. So what? This is really interesting. The women's next sprint is opening up. The men's situation is insane right now. The women's situation is about to get absolutely insane as well. So go ahead and take a look at this and see how this plays out as the ladies are starting their next sprint, moving forward as quickly as we possibly can. Larson, leading out. Corley Arthur actually on the front here. WLC looking to take this down, it looks like, with Cora on their, it looks like, second sprint of the day. Kelly from Zedson trying to come on through, but Cora's just got the jump here, Dave.
This woman's a machine. Yeah, absolute machine out here. Talk about doing your work. leveling up and just enough to take the win comfortably and slipping back into the group. Wahoo Lecole doing what Wahoo Lecole does so well. This team all over the front right now, Nathan.
Amazing job there by Coralie Arthur taking that down. I've seen over on her Instagram, she's been in the weight room a little bit, pounding the weights, and I think it's paying off for the big kicks there, the neuromuscular, coming across the line in first place easily there, Dave. That was quite the jump to just kind of grab a quick 50 meters, and nobody even was in sight.
Yeah, she's a mitochondria factory, to tell you the truth. It's been really fun to watch her development. Yeah, right now, her blood system is pumping a lot of oxygen to those muscles, man. And it's fun to see. You know, Nathan, I think you know as well as anyone that you reap what you sow. And the riders who do the work and consistently do the work, sometimes you plateau, sometimes you feel like you're not making any developments, but then you have these breakthrough, and this is a breakthrough season for Coralie Arthur as well. She's one of the best sprinters on the planet now. It'll be exciting to see what she can do. So let's get, the men, Nathan, absolutely bananas what's going on out here in that men's race now as they're just about to start into that transfer over to Libby, finishing up the fan flats here, the 5 laps that they were doing there, and it's not completely flat, to tell you the truth, but pretty darn close to it. But Nathan, back to you as we're about to shift gears here.
Yeah, and this is going to be interesting if that chase continues on. 12 seconds, Dave. They're going to need a little bit more than that in the break here with how fast that downhill is. Well, okay, here's the thing. We've got how many riders are off the front here?
12's not bad. Yeah, it's big enough that they'll have some snowballing. Clearly not as much as that second group. I fully understand what you're saying. An attack out of that front group, Nathan.
Yeah, this is good because it's not.
Sprints.
There's not as many. The sprint is coming up. There's not as many people in the chase here that are in the breakaway to chase you down. Some people are going to be trying to reserve matches. They don't have as much trust in the group. You can start to break things apart. Now, the only question I have of this is probably just for the points, I would think. With this next sprint section coming up, though, with the chase group and still with two places for first across the line there, you're still going to have some sprints opening up behind. It may close down some more time. Nathaniel's going to take this down easily, though. Carlock trying to come across. He's going to have to settle for second here. I think he's going to take that as well. Now, the way that they're sprinting this out, too, they're really starting to think, it seems to me, about this staying away at this point. As Diaz comes on through, it looks like for the 3rd or 4th place across the line. Whittington is still here sitting at the back. We do see the sprint behind here. Wow, lots of SZ on the front for those last 2 point sections here. Now, as they do head to the downhill, though, 8 riders away with 13 seconds, a lot more riders in this chase group situation here. Those 8 riders are going to have to start really working together. With 8, though, you can get a snowball on the downhill, and it won't come back quite as fast. If we're like 5 or under, I would be like, there's no way. With 8, I'm a little bit more confident that if they do work together, we'll see what happens. Now, with how many riders, Dave, that are from different teams and the way they're looking at each other, I just get the feeling that there's nothing much in the sails right now.
Boy, it's really interesting. Very hard to tell which way this one is going to go right now, to tell you the truth, because if you're so you see how the 2 Swedish Zwifter riders are on the front. Well, they're 2 of the guys that really want this to stay away, clearly. Now, how motivated everyone else is, BL13, I have a feeling, is just going to sit in this group.
Under defensive more? Is that what you're thinking? Because of their current leaders? Good call there, Dave. Yeah.
So, and then what that causes then is that ripple effect where everyone else starts looking at what BL13 is doing, like the Italian, and saying, I'm not going to throw all my chips in if he's not. And then the Swedish Swifters really get caught out. So I'm going to go with agreeing with you, to tell you the truth, more than I analyze that myself here, that this break is probably not the right mix. Watch them prove me wrong, though. It's almost guaranteed at this point.
Isn't that how it always goes? We make a certain call, and then they just keep on proving us wrong over and over again. And that's why
that speaks how great the racing is, though. I mean, don't you think? It's wild out here.
It is wild out here. And as you always say, Dave, that's why we make them race the race, right? I mean, that's why we get out there
100%.
and make it happen, boys. And as they do make their way on over toward the Libby Hill, there will be another sprint section, though, Dave, that they do need to set up for. And perhaps that's what they're thinking about. With 19 seconds now, this is interesting, too, because with 19 seconds, the group behind doesn't even... All they had to do was 4 watts per kilogram on the front. These boys aren't even they're putting down tempo and gaining time. This may actually stick. And then with this next sprint section coming up that they're going to go for, there's still some points available up ahead.
Yeah, you know what I'm really thinking now, Nathan? BL13 could also be setting a false tempo here because it's certainly, no matter how this ends up, it's not going to be bad for them. Remembering the team in yellow here, they have been the top dog in this Europe, Middle East, and Africa division that they've been racing in. This is the East. So this is not at all a bad scenario for them. I think they're really kind of in a standoff back there in the peloton saying, we're not chasing back our teammates. If you guys don't want to participate in closing this down, then they're gone. And we're not that far off from them being gone. They hit the bottom of Libby Hill with more than 5 seconds, Nathan. I'm talking about Libby Hill proper, the cobbles, when you make that hard right-hand turn. Not the run-up, which is actually a little tougher than people. It's not like it's flat until you get to the bottom of Libby, is it, Nathan?
Real quick, Dave. No, it's not at all. There's a little bit of undulation, and there's opportunity. I would say there's opportunity before you get to the bottom of Libby. Now, the only thing here, Dave, I think BL13 actually need to chase. I don't know. I mean, Eldine and Weir and unless they're super confident in these guys up front, so far, Dutch Racing have dominated this, and Karlik is the type of rider who might just walk away on with Libby Hill. I mean, maybe they have confidence in these two riders. The question is, what can these two riders do when it comes to their 1 minute power up and over the top here? Now, are we going to see Weir take down these points? If he does, that does start to change the conversation here for this fastest through segment and first to Conto's line. Doesn't look like it's going to start happening here. As Weir, it looks like Worm's going to come out through for SZ, and he's just going to dominate these points. See, the thing is BL13 are not getting a whole lot out of this situation, actually. And unless they bring this back and put some numbers up at the top, they might end up losing on the day, even though they're well represented up front. You still got to get the work done for your team with a breakaway situation, and they're just not making it happen at this moment.
No.
Oh,
and look
and a
at
counter.
This now. Wahoo,
the counter?
goal. Yeah. It sure is like a rocket ship here. Fernando Diaz has been a legend. That's going to be Olsen, who's also been incredible out here today. The Swedish Swifter is going to cover. Boy, it's getting spicy up in this group now, Nathan. No doubt about it. These guys are not, it's really every man for himself here. And the advantage has gone to be large enough that I think they are going to prove me wrong. It's funny how this goes back and forth in your mind, isn't it? But this is starting to look like, again, it's only a 33-kilometer race. That last sector of Libby, we talk about it a lot for a great reason. It's the crux of the situation here, but it's not that long of a climb. I mean, it's when you talk about Libby Hill, it's an exclamation point on what's going to be an interesting journey to get to the bottom. But Olsen right now putting the pressure on here for Swedish Swifters, and he's got a teammate sitting back in this small chase group now.
Real quickly here, the women did just go through a sprint. We'll take a look at that replay of Corley Arthur, I think, dominating again. But Brian Diddy is wondering if Dan Pedrosa is ready for tonight. We already got some smack talk coming on through. Absolutely love it. He also seems to like your Mitochondria Factory is a new favorite. It's one of my new favorites as well. We're going to take a look, though, at that Mitochondria Factory, as I believe she just took down another sprinter, as at least in the top spots here, as they just played out another sprint just a moment ago. We'll take a look and see here. I believe Cora Lee, there it is. I think that was just a moment ago here. Let's take a quick little reverse of this. Easily, it looks like just walking away with this one. Look at this, Dave.
Nathan.
And watch the jump here. I know I'm on a reverse of it, but I'm kind of giving you an idea of how it played out from the back to front here, and the timing, and how important timing is. Because look where Cora Lee is at the little green marker. That's about 200 to 300 meters to go. There's a couple of riders off the front. She just runs right through them with that drafting power up, 9 watts per kilogram, and boom, there it is. To the line.
Isn't that how you win fastest through segment too, Nathan? Basically, what she just did.
Yeah, I think she probably grabbed some fastest through segment there as well. Maybe not the top, but we'll take a look at the points here in just a moment for that.
Certainly some points.
At least
If she's
some.
not the top, she's certainly in the top 3 with the way that she's riding. I think she's got to be the top, but we'll find out. So this man has had a fantastic day today. We're going to go back now to our front group with the men because this is the finale. They're down to about 2.5K, a little less than that of racing. So it's flat here. When you look at the map, you can see they make a hard U-turn in just a moment, and that's where you start to ramp. It's really a race to the bottom of Libby Hill before all heck breaks loose out there. Okay, so this is your front group. They're staying away. I think that's pretty safe to say at this point, Nathan.
Oh, yeah, 30 seconds. There's no way this is coming back with how much racing that there's left. So they're going to go along the industrial park area. There's a little bump here that a lot of times you do see an attack with. But nope, nobody's going to give it a go, it looks like. Now, in the race on Saturday, there was some tactics with OMG. Oh, my God, they killed Kenny. And the way that it ramped up was from the left-hand turn, there was a lead-out train. Now, with only 2 riders from each team here, I think the lead-out train would have to start a little bit a little bit later. But Olsen here says, "No, I'm just going to make this really difficult." And you know what? This is really
for
smart.
His teammate.
I mean, because Verm, you just saw him there at 17 watts per kilogram. He's got one of the best kicks in the world, honestly. And so, he's great move here.
Couldn't agree more, Nathan. Verm is a platinum level racer, and this is the perfect setup. So he's being given this race on a silver platter right now by his teammate. You might say, oh, Olsen's never going to make it. Well, he doesn't need to make it. He's still going to get top 10 points out here, and he's really putting his teammate in great, great shape. And who knows, maybe Olsen does make it. As soon as I say he doesn't, he does. So that's what I love about racing here in our community. This is really just wide open right now. So here we go. Buckle up, guys. This is going to be fantastic as we've got one solo rider holding on to 3 seconds as it's about to turn into a Donnybrook here on Libby Hill. This is Libby Hill After Party, and this is the after party part.
We're there from BL13, ramping up just a little bit, just enough to make sure that he's within striking distance still. As you see Whittington now making his way to the front, everything very calm from WLC at this point. I think there's a lot of confidence that they'll bring Olsen back after he's burnt some matches off the front, but we'll see what kind of kick he's still got here.
But look who's sitting in. I mean, just getting a chariot ride here to the bottom of the cobble sector is John Verm.
Verm versus Karluk at this point because they've both been just do not count out.
Watch out for Weir.
Navamil as well. I mean, he has been so strong from P to Z. Now, will he go bottom to top? He makes his way to the front. There is drafting almost all the way to the final kick on those last couple of turns here as they are going to look to sit in and ride the wheels of speed here in just a moment. Let's see what kind of power-ups that they have, Dave. They're about to kick off. Here we go.
Yeah, who's going to have that arrow power up? That might just be the difference here, as this is going to be fantastic racing. It doesn't get better than this. We're down to a few hundred meters to go now. Well, the job done by Olsen trying to set up his teammate Jean Verm, that white jersey with the blue shorts. That's going to be Swedish Swifters. We'll keep a close eye on them as it's going to be Navamul, who's been a big star, certainly maybe our 5K hero of the day out here. And Nathan, I'm going to throw it back to you as we're on Libby Hill. It's on like Donkey Kong.
And here we go. Barrels being thrown left and right. It looks like Mario's jumping over the tops of the cobbles. Ver out here, though. TPC, is he going to make it happen? Here comes Verm, as you said here. SZ, the line is within sight. It's 10-13. Watch me go. Karluk versus Verm. Karluk's going to hold on right to the line. Verm's going to settle for second. That's your 1, 2, and 3 goes to Ver out there, as well as Navamil for fourth, it looks like. What a race out on Libby Hill. And the action doesn't stop because we're going to jump right back in with the women as they're about to take on their next sprint out here. And it's just nonstop out here today out on the Libby Hill after party. What a kick there, though, from Karluk. Dutch Racing just make it happen. As you can see, a little bit of break here. Teresa from BBB, though, as we jump right back in with the women. Matthew here as well. This is a breakaway situation, grabbing a couple of points for first across the line. Corley Arthur in the pack here, looking to take down, it looks like, her third sprint from the pack. It was neck and neck there, though, with Vanderplas as we are in with the women's central. Out for, is that going to be their fourth time around or fifth time around? I have to double check here real quickly as they're 19.5K in.
One more sprint on Monument then. They have 5 chances at that Monument Truss and then Broad Street. So Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they have one more sprint there. So
Happy
this is going to
birthday,
be BB.
Teresa. She just said
Yeah.
today's my birthday. 50, taking down
Teresa
sprints.
Daviette.
Just took down a sprint. And it's
Good
a
for
happy
her.
birthday sprint. Great job there to Teresa from the BBB.
Can you imagine, Nathan, how many people would say for my birthday, I'll take Teresa's fitness? Wouldn't that be awesome? She's got a fast bike underneath her today as well. We haven't really talked about that much, but she's clearly targeting the sprints out here today with great success. Nice to see Jessica McWirt out there. I highly recommend you follow Jessica and her musings online. She's a great, great writer. And here we go. Yeah, happy birthday from all of us at Zwift Community Live. We got an attack now, Nathan. So this is the women. They're out on the exact same course, same point schedule as the men. So they're now into really the final couple sprints before we move on over to Libby Hill for our after party. This is going to be interesting. It looks like we're going to be resetting things. And we are. Everybody back together. Grupo Compacto now.
That was just a way to get everybody to type. That's what that was. Sonny now saying that was just a way to calm everybody down.
Smart move.
It's my birthday.
Smart.
It's my birthday, everybody.
Tactical.
Calm it right on down. Let's blow out some candles. Can everybody sing? And then then everybody has to catch their breath.
I see a shout out from Dan Pedroza. Dan Pedroza and Brian Diddy have just got an epic battle going on. That's in our Zwift Community Live broadcast later in the day as we work our way around the globe with WTRL. Oh boy, you found a huge talent there with Julie Shilly, Nathan. But he's giving a shout out, and I have to agree, Sonia Mason Rodriguez. Sonia is down in Austin, Texas, a phenomenal athlete, and even better person. She's a great part of that community they've got down there. So nice to see that shout out right now. But boy, that Julie Shilly, a huge talent. I always thought that Julie was German for some reason, but that's definitely a Belgian flag next to her
It is
name.
a Belgian flag.
So there you
I
go.
thought so. I actually, I've been on that train as well a little bit, but it's most definitely
You learn something. Learn something every broadcast with you, Nathan.
Avis Lacole and the old BZR Sports Solid kit that is in here, and it makes a lot of sense with what a strong rider she is riding for that Avis Lacole team. Be on the watch out for them. She's been their all-star this season for sure, smashing it for the Avis Lacole team. We should probably take a look here if we can at what the points have been like so far, as
Thank you.
as the current team standings. Well, we said Corley Arthur was on the domination train. Well, it's not just Corley Arthur. It's WLC 1, 2, and 3 right now when it comes to points. They just know how to make things happen out here. Now, the Coalition Beta, or not the Canyon Beta team, it's a little bit surprising to me. Do they not have Sammy Stewart out here today? Has she not been able to make the start line? Is she racing in real life, or what's happening here? Because without Stewart, it's going to be tough to take down the reality that is Wahoo Lacole.
Well, you're correct that Stewart did not take the start today. She's not a scratch. She wasn't on their roster. So today, Canyon Beta has Amanda Argue, Hannah Johansson, Mikey Vanderplas, Philippa Draper, and Siri Hildenan. A lot of talent on that team, but you're right. I would put, we've seen some epic battles. As a matter of fact, I certainly won't forget that sprint between Stewart and Arthur last week out here. But Julie Shilly here, the Avis Lacole rider, Nathan, one of the premier talents that we've seen being developed. Polanowski's a name that I'm certainly paying more attention to. I'm not sure how familiar you are with Polanowski, Nathan, but clearly she knows how to position herself well, making all the right moves in all the right places out here. So 49 points for Coralie, and look at Wahoo Lacole just stacking the top of the table here with
Look how
your
close the racing
second place
is.
points.
In the standings, Wahoo Lacole though on
Isn't
the
that
day
great?
here, they're gonna jump up. Now again, if they win against well, look at this, they're gonna jump pretty high perhaps because look, Canyon Esports Beta are in 4th. They're gonna maybe be 2-3 places above. This is like a 2 or 3, 4 point day for them if they can continue on with this.
Yeah, so one of the things that I've learned is when you look at auto racing and the way the F1 point schedule works, or even, to be fair, even NASCAR, you really have to think this through. And WTRL did a tremendous job working with our team at Zwift to come up with a structure. So even though, Nathan, Wahoo Lacole looks like they're rampaging today, they might only pick up 2 points on Canyon. And so it depends on how things sort out here, but it keeps the league really, really competitive all the way through the season. This might be the best that we've ever seen, to tell you the truth. I don't know, Nathan, that I can remember seeing a 1 point differential from first down to second, down to third, down to fourth, and then another cluster of a grouping there, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So these ladies really benefit. We've said before, steel sharpens steel. Everybody's going to come out of this season stronger. And you noted a few of these riders are going to be with us tomorrow in what is really breakthrough racing. I am so stoked for what's happening with knockouts. Hasn't that been fun so far, Nathan? And there's so much potential.
And tomorrow is going to be.
Oh
Tomorrow's going to be insane.
I'm going to have trouble sleeping.
We've been exciting.
Man.
So this has been like 2-3 years in the making to get to this point. These kind of suggestions. I remember there was esports conferences that gone down a few years ago and talking about what things we could do. And this elimination race idea has just been, this thing that's been desired for a while. And I'm interested to see how this plays out tomorrow, because it's all, not only is it all on the line for some point situation, but you literally watch it all on the line for every racer that gets knocked out as it goes. So it's so great to see that coming up tomorrow. But now we're coming up into another sprint, and this is all about whether or not you grab the points right now as well. Similar. And here we go again. Coralie, 12 watt per kilogram kick. Will Villanova there be able to come across? And she may be able to get Coralie right at the line. Oh my goodness. No, Cora holds on. Wow. What a monster of a rider right now. Villanova unable to do it. It looks like just barely held off there. Palinowski there from KC Dev comes through for third.
I'm going to call Coralie Arthur the shark. She's got a shark brain. All she thinks about is killing and winning. She doesn't worry about what color her bike is or how her shoes look. She just comes to kill. It's unbelievable what a top-notch talent she is out here. So what I'm going to be very interested in is, how does she do on Libby now, Nathan? Does she have the range? It's going to be fantastic to see how this one stacks out. Oh, Philippa Draper moving up now for the Canyon team. This is racing at its very, very best, ladies. 25K in, 33K is where the finish line waits at the top of Libby Hill. So it's time to head on over. We've left Monument. Let's go to Broad Street and sprint there.
Yeah, next up, Broad Street, and then a little bit of reprieve for a moment, but things are so hot out here that people are falling off the back now, as we do see one of the riders from Revo who took an early sprint gone. Hildonen gone. I mean, big names getting just thrown out the back of this group. Obviously, it's been really fast, as we only have about 42, maybe 43 riders left in this main pack up front. As you said, Coralie Arthur is a shark. We'll see if the shark can ride uphill, though. As, interesting.
How can you not agree with that? I can't imagine you have pushback for me.
No,
you?
I don't. I mean,
good.
Obviously, she likes to swim in the ocean with her Seashell CC company, too, as well. There's a whole lot of stuff aimed at the ocean, as well as she is also
She's Scottish, right? It's funny. I am just
triathlete. Yeah, she's an ex-GB age group triathlete, actually. So she raced for Great Britain there as an age grouper, and so also has done a little bit of swimming. So I think she likes the water a little bit, to be honest.
Yeah, so all right, Nathan, this is the group that survived. Again, I see that name, the Revo rider, had a chance at Levi's Grand Final this weekend to meet some of the Revo women. That's another really cool program. There must be, boy, and I hate to even limit things, but there's at least 20 different organizations. I'm looking at you, Aeonian, of women that have banded together out here as part of the collective Zwift community. But you have your subsets. The Owls, there's another one that's really come on strong. How fun are the Owls on Thursdays, Nathan? And that's a group of women. An acronym is Older Women in Lycra. They have an absolute blast. It's sort of their equivalent of Mammals. I think, but even cooler to tell you the truth. So as we take a look at this front group now, Nathan, one fastest through segment and sprint at the same time. And this one, you only get one crack at when you talk about Broad Street. The fastest through segment on Monument Ave, you get 5 different chances to get your power up right, get your timing right, and see what you can do if that's what you're targeting. But it looks like Swedish Swifters are going to start to open up the account out here now. Or just moving to the front. I apologize. I thought maybe I saw the beginning of an attack, but you definitely don't want to attack from the front, do you? You want to give them a little surprise.
Now we do see, is that going to be Abus Nicole taking over at the front for a moment? Right-hand turn, and they'll see the sprint arch off in the distance, but it's quite a few meters still, probably 400 or so at this point. Nobody's going to open it up just as of yet. Sometimes a jump from the front does end up winning it out, but it's got to be quite the kick. And most of the time, the pack is able to hunt down somebody that goes a little bit too early. We do see a Brito being thrown down now at this point. Where's going to be the first jump? Who's going to take the risk is the question here. Hurd on the front with 4.5 watts per kilogram. It's going to be Eck there. Sitting on the wheel, it's going to be Rose Beast Mode with Dorer. And then 6 watts per kilogram quickly here from Denman. The kick is going to go first from Eck at 9.2. It's not going to hold, though, as Corley Arthur comes on through with a quick little 12 watts per kilogram. And her luck of the draw today with Arrow has been absolutely amazing. No saving for Libby. I think she's going to leave that for the rest of the team. Trying to hold on to the line. Looks like she's going to do so ahead of Van der Plas. Fur from WLC next. And then Beta is there as well. So Canyon, Beta, and WLC have just been head-to-head still, though. So they've really been the winners out, it seems like, so far for all the points. And that's going to be a lot of fastest through segment, I think, there for both those teams as well. I think there's going to see really at the line, these other teams are going to have to do something on Libby against the main sprinters that just took so many points early on, Dave.
If you're the rest of this field, you've got to be thinking, all right, Coralie, we get it. You made your point here. Come on. This is absurd how strong she is.
82
today.
points, Dave. 82 points versus 54
wow,
for her teammate, though. Is her teammate's the next, Dave?
I doubt that anybody does better than that today up to this point. I'm going to jot that number down, Nathan, see what we see. That's an incredible. Have you ever seen more than 82 for one? Wow. Van der Plas is getting counterattacked out of the back of this group.
Dorer off the back. Power.
My gosh.
This is a lot of serious. McWhirt's almost gone, but has a draft power, luckily, at 173.
Nathan, that was the danger there of going up against Coralie. If you go that hard, you can get your ticket punched and go out the back of the group. This race is an evil, evil conductor running the train. And at this point now, that's stunning to see a rider of Van der Plas's talent. At least she'll leave this group. I don't know if she rejoins or not, but she leaves picking up some points there in that sprint at least. She's got 31 total points, 6th on the table there for Canyon. The highest ranked Canyon rider. So let's see what happens here. This race has been wild as they come up on 30K in. It's 3.5K to go.
3.5K to go. And who's going to win on the day here? Will we see more from WLC and Canyon Beta? Are we going to see a different situation out here today from some of these other teams that have been waiting for the setup for the big points across the final kick over the top of Libby Hill? Now we still have SZ involved. KC are here as well. BBB have a couple of riders left. Abus Nicole and Zedson Hurd. Obviously WLC really in full effect still, with plenty of jerseys still involved in this front group. And it's going to be under 3K in just a moment here. And Van der Plas giving a little bit of a hey and saying hello, I think, as they're starting to form a little bit of a group to chase now. There's still points, I think, back there, though, where they're at. So it'll be interesting to see if they, at the end of this race, you still got a battle to the top of Libby, even though they did get dropped off the back.
Well, as we have a moment here now setting everything up, Nathan, this is going to be frenetic, no doubt about it. I have to say I'm incredibly proud of the rider that you've got queued up on screen, Jessica McWhirt out of Denver, Colorado. Jessica has been very open with her battle with migraine headaches, and it takes a tremendous amount of courage. I don't know if you've ever had anyone in your life, Nathan, or had to deal with migraines, but it's really something. And I know right now it's more and more people are dealing with it. Clearly. So she has shown so much courage in sharing her story and helping other athletes who are trying to Zwift. And the problem is, after these huge efforts, sometimes you get that headache, the onset, and Jessica's really working to figure out how we stop that. So, Jessica, you keep up that awesome, positive attitude. Good luck in the finale. We've got a big group of outstanding athletes together. But Nathan, we're going to sort out the cream from the crop. And I got to think Vanopa, certainly the Finnish rider here up in the front. She's got to be one of the biggest threats to take the win out here. If you're another. So I don't know what names stand out to you. Obviously, we've talked a lot about the Scottish rider, Coralie Arthur. Can she be beat? Sure, anybody can. But if you're going to come for the queen, you best not miss.
You
Julie Shelley has got to be your best bet.
She's given a move early here, and I wonder if that's because she doesn't trust her 1 minute power and is more of this, like, I need a little bit of a gap. I can put them all on the back foot here. Setting up riders who still have a sprint on this climb. You know, it's an interesting climb because it's that perfect mixture where somebody who's got a good kick and just enough of a drag race to the line still can win out against a good climber. So it'll be interesting to see here. It's really just such a puncher's finish here at this point. And Shalene might be trying to break things apart rather than make this a full-on sprint to the line.
Yeah, the Avis rider is certainly one of the interesting quandaries that you've got here, Nathan. No doubt about it. I talked about Laura Vanopa, the Finnish rider. They're both on that Avis team. Barbara Frisch is an Aeonian rider. Another name that really stands out, Danielle Istrate, Nathan. She's the Romanian flag right on the back of the group. Watch her start moving up through this the ascent to the bottom of Libby Hill. You can see it's at 6% right now. It has a little bump, little riser. It's undulating would be a good word. This is where we're going to separate the wheat from the chaff. Though you hit the nail on the head, Nathan. Julie definitely going to soften this group up. She's the tenderizer here. Can she be the tenderizer and the winner? It's certainly possible with a talent like Julie Shelley. You've got to do something.
This is interesting how she's doing this here, Dave. I mean, at 48 kilometers per hour, she's getting the gap a little bit here, but I just don't know. With the draft that's happening behind her at this point, this is such a huge ask to try and make this all the way to the top.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, Lynn, look what they do. These are lions that you've got behind you, and when they are working together, it is certainly hard to hold them off. And you can see we're going to hit the reset button. Danielle Istrate has moved up. Danielle Istrate is there. Watch out for this super talent out of Romania. Istrate, Matti, Larson, Barbara Frisch now moving up. Coralie Arthur is there, Nathan. She's still in contention for the outright win today and what could be the greatest points tally in the history of Zwift Community Live in one of our ZCL races.
Now, Larson, 8.5 watts per kilogram. Here's the first right turn onto the cobbles. And as they start the cobbles, the opening up there from Larson now with an arrow power up. Will she get the gap that's needed? Are all the riders behind just suffering too much? And now Daniela Estrate comes on through. She has the feather power up onto that 7% grade. The real kick up starting. Here comes Coralie Arthur at 9 watts per kilogram. I don't think it's going to be enough. Estrate fading now. It looks like Coralie Arthur with the speed. No, I don't think it can happen. The speed's just too much. Daniela Estrate going to take it down. Coralie at the last moment gonna nip second. Perhaps she does, but it wasn't enough to catch the monster from Aeonian. But Coralie still taking down so many points for her team out there today.
Well, that should be good. Wow. What a fantastic race. Coralie Arthur, that points total is incredible. How about Daniela Estrate, Nathan? Clearly she had a designated role, and that was to be the closer. And she delivered, no question. Maybe did they want to use? Well, you know what? I think they played their cards as well as they could when you talk about Aeonian. If they had used Estrate to try to take on Coralie Arthur earlier in the race, probably she would have been able to be there for the finish. What a fantastic turn of events out here. Good for Wahoo Lacole today. We'll see, Nathan, how much they climb the table. Does it get any better than that? Are you not entertained? Holy cow.
They needed a day like this today. They really did, because I think when it comes to Wahoo Lacole, they're used to being on the top when it comes to the racing scene. But Aeonian RT, little bit of a boost. I mean, when you got the world champion on your team, I think the expectations get a little bit start to get raised up a little bit. And they've been showing up week in, week out. They were sitting at 56 points at the top. Beast Mode presented by Rose. They only showed up with 1 or 2 riders out there today, so not maybe that put a little bit of chink in their armor, left a little bit of an opened a little bit of a door there for Wahoo Nicole. They were sitting in third with that 54 points. They might jump up into the lead now at this point, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Now we do have the men's race coming up here very quickly. They're about to get out on course actually for the WTRL Zwift Racing League WTRL Mixed Men's EMEA Southwest Division 1 is what we're going to be looking at here in just a moment. But quickly here, let's go ahead and take a look at the results for the races that we did just watch. It was the men's race that was up just a moment ago. That we did see the results for men's EMEA East Division with Dave. Why don't you go ahead and take this away for us?
Yeah, well, so I felt like we underserved Jacek Karluk out there today, as he had an incredible ride. The Dutch rider for Dutch Racing Team, consistent in all of the sprints and taking the outright win as well. Fantastic job today by the Dutch rider. John Verm taking second in the day out there for SC Uller. These points are all really the story is how they tally up for their teams. Hugo Viort of the Punchers Club. That's a team. I love the name and I love the way the French team races. Hugo Viort for third. It's going to be, one of our very, very active riders out here today. Luis Navimil in fourth, the Spanish rider for P2Z. It's John Whittington for Wahoo Nicole A7 in fifth. Anders Olsen, who really did a tremendous amount of setup work. To see him finish sixth, even more impressive for the Swedish Swifters. Peter Weir out of the United Kingdom for BL13 in seventh. Bjorn van Malderen, the Belgian rider, in eighth for Sports Solid A. Fernando Diaz deserves a lot of credit. The Spanish rider was great today for Wahoo Nicole. And Massimiliano Milano, the Italian Team Italy Development, made the break and was an impact rider today in 10th.
And we'll go ahead and go across the men's results here in the B category. Here it is going to be Luis Hermans for Sports Solid B. They're coming on through with a 45.38. Ian Doy there, half a second back from Evo Oryx. It's going to be Patrick Lilbaka there for the Swedish Swift Racers B there, 142 back. Matthias Eck for Team Rheinheisen for B1s. 2.66 seconds back. Andrew Nero for Engarde. It's going to be Gunther Hoffman for Sports Solid B, as well as James Roberts, Innovation Alien Lifeform 2. I love their teams keep on forming and morphing out there. Moritz Rohrmann there for the Rue Riders for their B1 team. Simon Deacon for Engarde, and it's going to be Philippe Botterdal for the Sports Solid B. Seems like quite a battle between each one of those teams there in that B category for the East Div 1. And in the C's, Dave, it looks like at the top we've got an Italian.
Yeah, nice to see Annabelle Romandini of the Scanalatori Cereali.
If that's because of I'm going to have to double check that, but I always love to see the mixed categories going across the genders.
Yeah, it is nice, isn't it? It happens more often than you might think, but I agree with you, Nathan. United Kingdom. Actually, how would I know what you think, right? But it happens. It happens. It's not incredibly rare. Michael Tandy, our gray woolly rhinos, in second. It's a bunch of a Swede here. Daniel Lundberg, Swedish Swifters mode team, in third. Again, these are our C's that we're looking at in the EMEA East Division 1. Eric Helberg for Coalition Horizon, fourth. Stefan Versick of Kirkmeyer in fifth. Gary Cordery, Coalition Horizon rider, sixth. Adrian Benosiglio for the Woolly Rhinos in seventh. And then his teammate, Andrew Ellis, in eighth. Andy Krift in ninth, the German rider there for Kirkmeyer. And then the Scanalatori, they had a great day with Claudio Crivelli taking 10th.
And in the D category for this East Division, it is going to be Arnold Tutzman for Team NLD Elite there. Dan for TFC Ghost Riders, followed up by Dave Holding WCC Soup Dragons. Looks like there's a lot of breakup here in this D category. That always means lots of suffering and great efforts out there today.
Wow, yeah.
Willem Remy for Team NLD Elite, as well as Mark Merkin there for Belgian Zwift Riders Gorillas. Dominique Harrison for TFC Ghost Riders. David Robotham for TBR Hard Knocks. Grant Taylor also for TBR Hard Knocks in 8th. It's going to be Tobias Lund for Swedish Zwift Racers D, and William Maskery. That's the situation there, and he's coming on through for 10th for WCC Soup Dragons. That is your EMEA
It's a great
East
name.
Div 1 across the board for
Soup.
each and every one of the categories. So it's Soup Dragons. It's an interesting
Yeah, I like
name.
it.
You like it?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I don't know why. It feels like an old school kind of name, but very United Kingdom-y for sure. So, all right. Well, the racing continues. You have to think, Nathan. I know it's not necessarily your cup of soup, if you will, but this course for the sprinters, does it get any better than this? You just get crack at it after crack at it out there. Channel your inner Coralie.
Yeah, and that we're gonna have a lot more of that with 2 more races to go in just a moment here for the men's and the women's side of things. And it'll be interesting to see how this ends up playing out for them all. But now for the women's racing here, Daniela Estrate, Aoni and RT were a little bit quieter for the day, but they ended up taking down the win, Dave. I think we muted your mic there, Dave. Did I lose you for a sec? I believe I lost Dave for a moment, as we'll see if we can get him back, but we'll go ahead and jump back in. Danielle Strate there, 46-42. It looks like Coralie Arthur, she just continues to dominate on the day. Nia Larson from SZ Zin comes through for 3rd. Lara Polanowski for 4th. Laura Van Jopa holding down for Avis Lacole. In for 5th, Wendy Matthew for Aaron RT in 6th there. It's going to be Hannah Bornschein for 7th from Kirchner Women Dev Team there. Philippa Draper for Canyon Esports Beta Women. A little bit of struggle for them today. We'll see if they can ramp it up in the second half of the season. And then it is going to be a deal Battersby for Wahoo Lacole. And then Julia Walkenhorst coming up through for the Kirchman Women's Dev in for that 10th place. Well, now we do have the men's racing up and running here for our next division that we'll be covering. It is going to be the Southwest. Let's go ahead and jump right on in, as they're about to start their next sprint, and it is opening up immediately. And it's going to be Leiberher here from the CN exclamation mark D off the front out of Switzerland. It's also World Rowing ICC, and this is one of the Olympic teams, I believe, out of Great Britain here, who also train and race out on Zwift, trying to close things down. These early attacks seem to be playing out for these riders. It's still quite a way to the line, though. Blanchi, I think, from Foudre is going to close this down, though, as Bayer and Blanchi. Christian's there as well, and easily going to shut down that early attack. And it looks like dirt, though, with Christian. Loveday there coming on through as well from the art team. The timing so perfect, actually. I'm going to see if we can get a replay of this real quickly, as the riders, they come through so fast. Sometimes it's difficult to even make sense of what even went down there without taking a look at the slow motion. As Bayer here from CND coming on through, but no, it's going to be dirt there with Christian, and then Art with Loveday at the last moment able to snatch those points here. So nice job on them. Wait and see if we get Dave back hanging out with us. I think he may have completely lost his internet, actually. We'll see if we get a fix on that for him in just a moment. It looks like it might be on like Donkey Kong, Colorado at right now. So interesting to see. Robert's here. Jessica Hesketh as well from the ART team. And this lead group here, it looks like any kind of separation. It looks like Blanchi, after that kick, might have done his duty for the day. Amari now trying to come across. Is he just sitting in and trusting that this is going to come back together? I think that's exactly what is going on, actually, for this Foudre team, as they're in the blue old school Zwift kits. And the Belgian rider here coming across. Amori's there as well. going to make it happen. They're going to be number 38 and 39, 38 and 39 able to join this. So just under 40 riders at this point, it looks like, as they jump back in with the group. Off the back, though, it does look like Sign is going to be no longer here with them. Dave, I got you. It looks like back here.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that, everybody.
That's all good. We were able to handle it for a little while. We missed you. We were worried that Donkey Kong had entered the building. And
Donkey Kong must have knocked over a power pole here in Fort Collins or something, but the power came right back on. So that's good.
Well, everything went black. Did everything go black? Like,
everything went black, not plaid, unfortunately.
Yeah, those are the worst. Like all of a sudden, all of the lights go out and the computer's off and everything needs to be restarted. I've been there. I have been there, Dave. Now, if that happens at the studio here, things are just over. I mean, it's just over. I mean, to re-go at that point, there's no way sometimes. But getting that's.
It's far better that it happened to me, not you. For sure.
Yeah.
Right. Well, anything that happens to you also happens to me on this end. So, so I think when we left, I was talking about what a great course this is for sprinters. I'm going to think through all of the seasons. We're in 2022, season 3. This is really the 6th season, though. The way it gets split up is kind of in these 3-season blocks. And we're at the end of one of those blocks. We talked about knockouts and a new format of racing that we've been developing. And boy, do we appreciate the team's help with that as well. But Nathan, this is just a sprinter's fiesta out here as we get a look at how things have been sorting out so far. And this is Coned V Sports A with 57 points.
I love the name.
That's a funny name.
This is the best name. This is seriously like one of the best names I've ever seen.
Huh?
Yeah, they're just getting coned. They're all of them getting coned.
So Dirt Wolfpack is second place right now with 55. The way the points table works here, the top team, so all the riders on one team, their points are added together. And then the top team will leave today with 20 points, 19 for second, 18 for third, and so on. So you can see at the middle part of the season, it gets harder and harder to move up the table. So Dirt Wolfpack not only would love to win today, but they'd like to see Coned have a tough day and move. If they move further back than if they're in 5th place today, well, all of a sudden Dirt Wolfpack will be your leader. I'm looking at that from Dirt Wolfpack's perspective. As far as Coned is concerned, what I'm talking about is absurd.
So taking a look here, they Coned V Sports, they actually have oh my gosh, I love their description. We developed the next virtual cycling, virtual running, and virtual rowing world champion. Is it you? Trickle in. Coned V Sports is based in Europe with focus on GMT, CET, and EET zone racing. The language of communication is English. 595 times total coned raced efforts. Or 94. They've been coned that many times in game. They're that strong is what they're saying. That their level is just above, is insane is what they're saying. Coned V Sports continues to pioneer and innovate. I don't know if this is a joke or actually true, if they've actually been coned that many times.
They're so good, people don't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, they're that good. Continues to pioneer and innovate race formats like 3R Omnium Team Championships. We participate in every Zwift Racing League season, Zwift Classics 2021, and many community race series. They have a whole list of their ZRL wins, as well as, I mean, there's plenty of stuff across the board when it comes to community racing, not just ZRLs. I mean, these guys are committed to the world of Zwift racing. And the fact that I haven't noticed them, I almost feel embarrassed, because this is one of the coolest teams I've seen in quite a while as far as how they've organized and presented this over on ZwiftPower.com, as well as the name being one of the best jokes of a name I've ever seen. And
pretty darn good.
Joke, as well as saying, hey, we're that good. So I love it. Great job to them.
got to have a sense of humor out here as well. Well, these guys probably aren't laughing right now as they're deep in the pain cave, no light. They're just stumbling around looking for that finish line because they want the points. That's going to be Tomasek, the Czech rider here, moving to the front. Grenet here, the French rider in second wheel. These two are going to gobble up first and second place points with a well-timed breakaway here as we start racking up the points here. But this arch, now, we can talk about fastest through segment, but they have 5 different sprints there, and that one goes to a well-timed attack. It's going to be Snowy here, the South African, from dirt coming through for third. And let's go ahead and, well, very quickly, these points will populate for us here. And I think
that's after one. That's after one we're looking at now. It'll populate in a moment for what's happening. Look at
that
dirt
was
at
the second
top,
sprint we just
Look
watched.
at that.
Right.
Holy cow. Dirt are like dominating. Adam Racing Team are there as well at the top. This is interesting.
Christian was back up there again, too, scoring, I think, third place points that time through.
Now, again, the fastest through segment are a part of this, so it'll be interesting to see how this changes up as we get more and more first across the line points. But fastest through here, nice job. So it looks like for Dirt to take down plenty of those.
Now, those points are static, however. They can change as we might see faster times coming through that faster through segment. Unlike the FAL points, which is first across the line, those points, Nathan, you collect them and you bank them. With fastest through segment, again, it's always in play, isn't it? And there you can see things changing there. It's now Love Day with the fastest through segment time. Let's see if he holds on to that.
This, Dave, you're gonna absolutely love this. So with one of our good buddies, and I hear you might have a problem, Michael Sweet. I hear you might have a problem, from what Instagram tells me. But as you can see here, I got you, Nathan. As we lost you for a moment, and Michael Sweet comes on through.
He stepped in.
Yeah, he stepped in for a second and just let us know that
just
what he needed to do
barraged you
here.
with catchphrases, right? Thank you, Michael.
Michael's is so great and one of the best couples that you can find on the world of Instagram. This. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, I was going to say, I love those two. I think I'm going to Whitney Post, his partner. I think I'm going to see them this weekend at Belgian Waffle Ride down in San
she's
Marcos,
been posting a lot about getting ready for the Belgian Waffle Ride. And
she
I'm
looks
super
ready.
Excited for that. And that's one of the posts I actually, from Whitney Post over on Instagram, did one of the best sound bites on what it looks like to live in a tiny, tiny apartment and have a slight addiction, perhaps, to bicycle racing, and absolutely great. If you haven't checked them out, make sure to do so over on the socials, as they have a lot of fun. As one of the best cycling couples I've ever seen out on Instagram. They're
good
sure.
people.
So
definitely good people. Hey, I wanted to point out too, Nathan. I know the Zwift community is something that, to be honest, you built. You were, a founder here, and Dan Pedrosa and Brian Diddy are having one of the most hysterical exchanges that I've ever seen in it's a Facebook chat.
Well, supposedly. I mean, is this what you mean here? Supposedly Dan did a bike change on?
Yeah, they're doing a bike change out here. Yeah,
I don't remember this. I don't remember this bike change, but I mean, they set me up, and somehow they also did a bike change in the middle of the setup for the win in the Electric Spirit Co. race, but I don't remember the bike change. And
that would go about as well as those Red Bull guys exchanging planes this weekend. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I missed it. I missed it.
So two pilots were going to jump out with parachutes, change planes midair. So first time ever, it didn't go so well. They lived. They're fine.
Everyone survived. Okay, good. I'm glad
planes
everyone survived.
The planes are not okay.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Or one of them is okay. The other, So at any rate, no one died or anything. So there's nothing like
that.
As long as
but did you die? No.
Yes,
okay.
But I think it went about as well as a bike change would out here in Richmond. But anyways, that's a great sense of humor. Those two, I tell you what, we were talking about Coralie earlier. Well, Brian Diddy and Dan Pedrosa have had an epic battle in the sprints as well. That's really fun. That's part of what I love so much about Zwift community. The great people, but also, Nathan, it's a full day of racing here. I see Restart. Looks like they're attacking through the center of the group right now. Meyer here. Is that Restart? I think I have the jersey right.
It is.
Certainly
You got the jersey right, 100%. And they've been a little quiet. They are currently sitting 4th overall at 49 points, tied with Foudre. We have seen both those teams a little bit involved. Signature have lost riders early as they send a rider off the front. So it'll be interesting if they can get away and grab some points. Signature are currently sitting in 3rd at 53 points. It's Cohen's V Sports at this point. Their series to lose from where they stand at 57 points, 2 points ahead of Dirt Wolfpack. Now we do see that being covered though, as Granite gives it a go, and it's going to be, is that going to be Foudre? Yep, Foudre covering it alongside of Dirt and Coned. ART are staying involved as well. So a lot of attention being made here. And this is a smaller group, Dave. You don't have quite as many bodies to make chases here at this point. So I do think you do need to be a little bit more attentive to anything that goes up the road.
That's an excellent point, Nathan. The other thing that's noteworthy is who's left to chase here. As this is Grenade that we're looking at, the French rider, who's certainly a breakthrough rider here in the ZRL this season. And boy, it's looking pretty ragged out, mate. This is a high pressure race that we're looking at. For those of you just joining us out there, we are in Richmond. It's interesting, though. It's not the normal Richmond course. As Fan Flats is where they are right now. It's not completely flat, but it's pretty close. Certainly a sprinter's delight out here. And they get 5 different opportunities to sprint at the Monument Ave Sprint. That's what we've been watching, that green arch. And that's where they pick up power-ups. 7 different power-ups today. The Arrow, the Draft, and the Burrito. They've all been relatively effective, but certainly in that finale, the Arrow makes all of the difference. Draft not bad, but Arrow is premium. And here we go, Nathan. I'm going to throw it back to you as we're launching another sprint here. Big points on the line. Another fastest through segment.
Yeah, and Tyler from the Wolfpack, Dirt Wolfpack, trying to hold on to the line, but Blanche, I think, just maybe getting a by wheel length on that Tron bike. And it was Blanche and Tyler from the Wolfpack going head to head. The World Rowing ICC team with Massey, I think, was settling for 3rd there across the line. And what a battle. I'm loving this between the Wolfpack right now and the rest of this the rest of the peloton at this point, because Wolfpack just continues to show that they are the strongmen on the day, muscling through. And WP here, they are maybe looking to take down Cone V Sports, because I've not seen Cone V Sports involved nearly as much as I have seen from Wolfpack. And just to highlight what I'm talking about here, when it comes to the standings from this series so far, let's go ahead and do it this way, actually. If we take a look at the points right now, Wolfpack. I mean, top here. And then, boom, look at this, 2 points behind. But this might change up in a moment here because of the way that this team is playing things out. Be interesting to see how they can take on Libby Hill at the end of the day. Before we go into a little bit of that data a little more here, Dave, I do want to highlight we are jumping in with the women's race. They're about to do their first sprint out here for the day. And for the women's side of things, we are covering the Women's North Division. We're jumping across to them, just as a heads up to everybody as they jump into their next sprint. We'll take a look at a replay from that last sprint for the men in just a moment. But the women from the North with Electric Spirit Co., and it's Katie Loker, Dave. Is she going to take it down? She's got plenty of competition, but I would put her out here as a favorite.
I would even have to put this team, Nathan, electricspirit.co, as a breakthrough team of 2022. Men's side, women's side, they are crushing it. It has been so fun to watch. And speaking of Loker, that was a fantastic place to start things off, because she's going to just launch Andiamo as Loker here, going to leave no doubt about this one.
Where is everyone? Like, they're not even in the same zip code as you would say, Dave. And Williams, foot for 2nd and 3rd. I might even just keep pedaling if I'm her. I mean, just like, what? That was insane.
So that should send a shot across the bow for everybody. Katie Loker, I haven't seen, Nathan, yet our start list for tomorrow's knockouts, but Loker is going to be a big problem, I would think, if she does take the start for electricspirit.co.
I would be. I mean, why would I mean?
Of course.
She just did
Right.
17 watts per
Understatement of the
kilogram.
year.
Dave,
I just made the
17.
understatement of the year, Nathan, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be shaking in my boots right now, looking at that and knowing that I have to go to the line, for 10
With
times
that?
with her.
Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
whew, okay, Electric Spirit.
So what do you do here then, Nathan, right? If you're Wahoo Nicole, I think you've got to get after it. After watching that display of strength, so the Wahoo Nicole team has got Lizzie Brooke. She's a world-class triathlete.
Is Lizzie out
Katy
here right
Perry.
now? Is that right?
Well, I see she was on the start list, although haven't seen her name yet.
Oh, if they
Again,
don't have her out
a lot
here
of
today,
traveling
that's gonna be tough because she really is needed. I mean, she's needed today.
Let's see. I see at least 4 of the Wahoo Nicole. I think I see 5, which would mean that Lizzie, well, not necessarily, as the teams have 6 riders on the roster. There is a chance that riders do
She's
scratch.
there. I do see her. I do
Okay.
see her to the front.
There you
I
are,
just
right
didn't
near the
see
front.
WSC next
Right
to her
on the
name.
front,
That's all it
as a
was.
matter of
Yeah.
fact, on cue.
So,
That's
good
Lizzie Brooke.
that Lizzie has shown up because she's really going to be a rider who can make a difference in the final for sure.
Couldn't agree more. That's going to be one of the ways that you can try to move things into your advantage, because you don't want to sprint against Katie Loker like that all day. We just witnessed what Coralie Arthur can do, so a repeat performance is not going to be desirable. NZ Bro brings quite a team here. This is a group of women from New Zealand that have made quite a splash. I was talking about electricspirit.co having such a breakthrough season. Well, it was about a year ago that NZ Bro was doing the exact same thing. It's not entirely New Zealanders, as they've got Kat Conlon, Irish woman there, but Brittany Litton, Carly Francis, Danielle Trewoon, and Trewoon is a name that we've gotten to know well, as is Heather Neal and Tellery Reese, all on this NZ Bro squad. But you can see season so far, it's been all Wahoo Nicole, but Team Italy's right there. As a matter of fact, they're just waiting to break through Roca Corma. That's the team put together by former world champion Ashley Moman-Pasio. Then you've got Electric Spirit Co., just 1 point behind them. And then NZ Bro, the Prinihihi, the Princesses from New Zealand there in 5th, WTRL Firestorm 6th, and then Draft ZRL. They're going to be in it to try to get some glory on the day today, I think, more than anything, along with our Swedish Swifters. That's the peloton that we have here in the early going. Katie Loker, perfect so far, fastest through and first across the line points. We'll see. Is the first time going to be the fastest time through? Sometimes it is, Nathan. Sometimes it's not.
It'll be interesting I mean, she kicked so hard, 17 watts per kilogram. My question is, can she do that again? Was that all the
Did she even use a
neuromuscular-
power up?
She
I don't
did.
even
She had
remember.
an arrow. Yes, she did use an arrow. So
that might be the icing on the cake. 17 watts per kilo with a power up. Well, good luck. Vaya con
I
Dios.
like that. Good luck. Well, good luck, everybody. Have luck. Have luck. All right, to the front here now.
Well, I
wonder if anyone gets that one. We'll see if anyone knows that joke. But Cohen now here with Novak taking over at the front at 5.2. It looks like just letting the setup. It does get a little antsy, so you start seeing these little ramp ups, right? So
yeah.
altogether, a
Here we
spiel
go.
here, Foudre. Now Barnhorst now going. Again, Wolfpack really trying to show that they've got the Sprinter's Delight down packed with Foudre. In the final sprint on the day here, Blanchi comes on through, showing Wolfpack can't have it all. Tyler, though, looking for a little bit of upset in the last moment. Not going to make it happen. He holds on. As well as Foudre, I think they're also for second.
1-4.
And then third for Christian there. Nice job all around.
Foudre in French means it's an oak cask for storing wine. And man, they're certainly, going to have some watts this storing. It certainly points to out here for Foudre. So the French team.
I want to keep going on that. Be like, is it fermented? Is it aged well? What's the taste? Have you swirled it around in the glass a little bit? I mean, what's happening here, Foudre? I need to know. Sarnecki on the counter. On the full-on counter. I love it.
Yeah, this is how you do it, man. I tell you what, when you find that little moment of weakness, again, this is our men's race now, and Restart was waiting for their moment. Gotta love this one here. So, Mike Sarnecki is the rider that's going to try to put his foot on the throat. They're down to 13K of racing, one more sprint on Monument. Then you've got the double dip over there on Broad Street where you get one shot at it. Like Eminem said, you get one shot, right? Broad Street sprint and fastest through segment. And then you have really the only chance to regroup. And you never know what's going to happen on the descent that takes you down into the foggy bottom and the trip back up to the top of Libby Hill. This one's on. Michael Sweet, this is for you. It's on like Donkey Kong.
One more sprint to go. One more sprint to go here. I think WLC, they have some of the best directors out there for sure. And they know that they do not want to go to the line over and over again with the likes of Loker. Lizzie Brooke goes
see what
right
they're
to
doing.
the front. Cassie
Yes.
as well is right there. They're also on the attack. We've got two situations happening right now live, Dave, with attacks from Restart and now WLC, trying to make things happen to make sure that the sprinters do not have their delight.
Best esports racing in the world happens right here on Zwift. There is no doubt about that. And we're looking at another phenomenal day as we're right in the middle part of the season, in the middle part of this race here. Actually, the early part of this race is we've got a sprint. So Wahoo Nicole definitely tried to upset the apple cart. They did a good job there, as it wasn't quite as easy. No, it wasn't easy for Loker, but she wasn't able to have her way with the field like a cat batting around a mouse in the corner of the church. That was not the case this time, because that's going to be a different points table that we're looking at when we get a chance to flash back and look at those points. Do we see a little bit of a split happening? Well, welding things back together is going to be the task at hand now for these ladies, as they're a third of the way into their race.
That was really well done by them.
By Wahoo.
Where was they made it
They
so
caught her
hard.
Out. So I think that was great directing.
Yeah, everybody
like
just
you
had
said.
their heart in their throat, I think, Dave. I think there was just no way to come through because Brooke and Cassie just made things that difficult.
If you catch a rider who's in bad position, that's when you try to take advantage of that. It's worth it to burn some matches if you can keep. Did they keep Loker out of the top 10 after that first sprint? If they did,
I didn't see her jersey.
Brilliant racing.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can see it in the replay here. I wasn't gonna go back, but I'm gonna actually.
I don't believe she did after making those 17 watts per kilo and just dominating that first sprint out here on Monument. It looks like Wahoo Nicole's cracking the code.
This is what we just saw just a moment ago. Castelli were super involved. Great to see the Italians getting involved here as well at the front. Cass
really
is there
coming
from
on.
Roca. Loker's there. Okay, Loker is there. My bad. You do see
That's
her
the
involved.
orange.
Yeah, so she comes through. Last moment, maybe took it down. So she did get some points. She was involved. But it wasn't as dominating.
Yeah.
Not as dominating, though. She just kind of snuck in there, though. Like, all of a sudden, where was she?
Then snuck back out.
Yeah.
If you weren't there for the 5 seconds that they went through the arch.
Talk about an insanely cagey rider. I mean, all of a sudden, where's Loker? Where's Loker? Oh, there she is on the right-hand side there real quick.
She's the person that shows up right in time for dinner, eats, and then leaves, right? There's no messing around with her. It's all business. That's actually an extremely good sign for a racer. Talking about you, Katie, is situational awareness at a high level with Katie Loker out there. Good job, Wahoo Nicole, though, doing what they can. That's the women's race that we're talking about. We'll go back to the mixed men's here and see what's going on. It looks like, have they brought Mike Sarnecki back in, or is he still dangling off? It looks like
they just brought it back. Yeah, just a moment ago. So
well, good for him, making it spicy, right, Nathan? At 24K, 24.3, they begin that journey. It really is when we shift from the tale of two cities, all of the sprinting going on here in Richmond, and then we'll head down to Libby Hill proper in just a moment.
The discussion about these amazing OMG tactics just continues on. As you can see here, I mean, Peter Mogg is letting us know that I mean, if you didn't know, supposedly mountain bikes are faster on the cobbles. So this is all jokes,
That's a
people. This is
no-brainer.
not. What I don't
Peter
want is
chiming
like.
in now.
I
Yeah.
I don't want is like for the people to actually take this seriously and like, and then next thing you know, we see mountain bikes and they blame us.
Oh yeah, tongue
stand in the
firmly
Wi-Fi
in
tower.
cheek for this entire
Yes,
conversation.
firmly,
I hope.
very
Yes.
firmly. Oh my goodness, these guys.
So these guys are obviously having fun with each other. High-level competitors, man, do they throw down. And possibly, Nathan, remember a couple of weeks ago I was saying Dan Pedrosa has one of the best attitudes of any human being I've ever met. So does Brian Whitty, right? These guys definitely have fun with things. Let's go back to the racing right now, as we can see another attack going off the front. This hard U-turn brings us into full sprint mode here as it's time to launch. And is this going to be? It is Herrero, now the Spanish rider, on coned, putting him under pressure. Here comes Foudre, Almery, the Foudre rider from Belgium. And it looks like, is he going to gobble up the points? He's going to need to hold on because they're still charging. Going to be an interesting one.
Whoa, just
Almery.
barely. Hold on for the last points there for Foudre. The wine has aged perfectly, it seems, for them in the final meters of this sprinter's delight. Now we head on over toward Libby Hill. They've got one more to go, though, Broad Street in just a moment. Or not Broad Street. Yeah, it is Broad. Is it Broad Street?
It
Sprint?
is.
Yes, it
Broad
is
is
Broad
the
Street.
final sprint.
Yeah, I
before
always
the
get it
final.
confused
Yep.
because there's another Broad Street situation as well. So, yeah, we're jumping into Broad Street out here in just a moment for the next sprint and set up.
It is a
on over to
confusing
Libby.
course.
Well, because
is
you
a-
have the same, because in the reverse, you have the same ones as well in some places, but it's just that street reverse. But the reason why it's not stuck in my head as well is because for so long, Richmond was only one direction. And then when they made it reverse, it was like, oh, what are all these new streets that we suddenly are a part of? So
in the timeline of Zwift, I noticed that it was 7 years ago this week that Watopia was introduced. You were there for that, amongst a few, maybe even 1,000 other people that were beta riders, and then that Watopia introduction.
up until that
and
point,
I have
we were
to
riding
think,
Jarvis, right? Up until
Right,
that point,
right.
we were on some little 3-mile loop in Jarvis Island.
yeah, it's a great story. It really is. I would think there's a tremendous documentary that could be made about just the timeline at Zwift. But Richmond, Nathan, I have to think, was the next world that was introduced after Watopia. I know our friend Charlie Eisendorf was.
Yes,
This world
yes, it was.
championship
It
happened
was.
in.
Prior
Yep.
to,
So-
and then when they put the roadblocks up on Watopia saying like under construction, everyone was like, whoa, what's happening? Before Ocean Boulevard, there was a little construction thing on the left-hand side before that even came up. And everyone was like, what's that all about? And it was there
People
for a
panicked.
long time, actually.
Uh-huh.
All hands on deck. Lots of theories about what was coming, and a lot of people were happy because there was a place you could ride without hills. That was like the big thing. Yay! And Ocean Boulevard became like the most popular place in the entirety of all the worlds. All right, back in with the ladies racing though. Are we gonna see it again? Where's Katie is the question. And
There she is on cue.
Loker, boom, electric spirit, 11 watts per kilogram, not 17 again. Is she doing just enough, or did she really use some bullets here? Because here comes Williams, WLC. The timing seems perfect, and Williams is going to make it happen. It looks like Cade's going to settle for second. Still plenty of points, but WLC starting to see some chinks in the armor. Brooke over the top. You know, the kind of rider
Good time
that
for a
Brooke and
counter.
some of these, these riders I think are strong enough that they could get away.
Interesting to see Doni, the Italian on Castelli, they're using the drafting power up as, okay, well, this is going to be a big moment here. I think Wahoo Lecole wants to stir the soup a little bit, but everybody's going to hang in there. Boy, this has been aggressive, no question. These women are really having at it as
Look
they
what
hit the
happened
middle
here, Dave.
part.
Look at this.
Well, there's a small group that might not come back, to tell you the truth.
Fellini, Robson, see M from Electric Spirit. We also see Conlon here. Verston from WLC. I mean, these are some big names.
These are
off
some
the
really
back.
big names. And
Yeah.
so they got caught up. So what Wahoo Lecole seemed to me, what they did was they saw these ladies in a little bit of trouble. They pressed the accelerator to try to put them out the back door. I think Wahoo Lecole is doing a really, really good job of riding out here today. They either that or they're catching some breaks. But I'm going to lean towards the former and think that this is coming
Yeah,
from some
well,
solid direction. They're
that
obviously
team,
organized.
is just such they have such good DSs. One of the things about that team is they always
That's a
have the
strength.
tactic. Yeah.
Huge. So that's not a marginal gain. That's a massive gain in esports, having a good director who really understands the sport and, Nathan, understands your riders and their strengths. So this is going to be Blanchy going launchy out here as we take a look at some teammates. It's nice feeling sprinting against a teammate here.
Wow,
They'll
1,
hold on.
2
Up
for
two.
Wolfpack there. Yeah, Blanchy settles for third from
Wolfpack.
Foudre. Foudre, it's a Foudre versus Wolfpack situation really at this point with those two. 5 of the top 10 right there for the points were Foudre versus WP5. Great to see Wolfpack here still lighting things up. The second place team, Dave, currently in the standings. Take a look here and see. This is where things are at with the points before Broad Street. Really spread across Wolfpack really well. Foudre at the bottom of that.
I got to put Coned. I got to put Coned in there too.
But where are they in the points? What's going on with Coned today?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because they're the current series leaders by 2 points. What is going on? We did this big hype. Who are Coned? Well, where are you, Coned? If we say who you are, you got to show it. What's happening?
So, it's interesting, Nathan, though. Remember at this point, at this point when we looked at the women in the previous race, that we had a rider, Arthur, with 88 points. See how they're completely different? The distribution here is much more symmetrical or even across the teams. It's going to come down to the finish. It always does.
Yeah, I think that is a good point.
But there's no one team with a monster number of points.
Well, I mean, Dirt, look at Dirt.
It could be a lot better.
Look at Dirt.
Listen, I'm agreeing with you. Coned is certainly underachieving at this point, but I think that they might have a chance to pull a rabbit out of the hat. But it's not going to be easy at this point. Well, to be honest, when you look at it, Nathan, you're right. I mean, Dirt Wolfpack is having an incredible ride, and it's their race to lose. Is that a good way to put it?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. 100% their race to lose at this point. I mean, we're coming into the final couple of K here, about a little less than about 3 to go or so. And if they don't do something, these other teams, Wolfpack are going to walk away with this one. So many points, and they're showing.
It might be too late. Yeah.
Dad's inside riding trainers. I mean, there's just a reality here that they've got the monster watts, dude. It's Dad Watts Day, dude. That's what's happening. I'm all with this. I'm rooting. I gotta say, just because it is the baby bottle in the back here at this point. That's what's really making things happen. That's the extra power up, really, when it comes to today.
It's such a great, I think it's one of the first things I identified with when I got into this world of esports was what the dads inside riding trainers are all about. That's just perfect. Reaching down, handing the bottle to the kid while you're putting out watts in the middle of a race has happened more than once there. I'm a big fan of what Christopher has done.
So I don't know if you know, that's how Nathan started.
That's how you started?
Pre-Zwift, 2009. Baby bottle, baby monitor, playing World of Warcraft for 5 hours while at 200 watts doing pro training. That was Nathan gaming with a baby, with literally the breast milk in the freezer, getting ready to go at 2 a.m. That was, so you want to talk about that?
Caveman esport. Yeah.
That's the man after my own heart with that baby bottle there in the left-hand pocket. Love you guys. Dad's inside riding trainers here. And now with a little bit of a kick on the front, though, they're going to have to respond perhaps here, Dave, as Coned are now, I think, setting up to say, no, this isn't your race to just walk away with, as we do see Herrero to the front.
I'm not sure if that last look that we had at the points included Broad Street or not, but this is it. The last chance saloon coming up here on Libby Hill. We're down to 1.8K to go. And
little bit of a change
things a little bit. Yeah.
But still, Cohen's not really there, though. Where are they?
No.
They're not even here.
No, definitely not. Definitely
are they even
not,
on the course?
Nathan.
Cohen, are you even in the race today?
It's Foudre, actually. It's Foudre that has really moved up, to tell you the truth. And your statement
And
earlier
they're all the way
about
down
5
at
minutes ago,
49 points. I mean, that's great for them. They might have a big jump today.
they could, yeah, let's see what they can do. But this is definitely a good day for them. They've got a chance at the outright win. And at worst, I'm thinking second place looks extremely achievable out here. Well, here we go, folks. Coming up quickly on 1K to go for the mixed men's A's. The women are out on course. They're well to the middle part as well, but this is going to be quite a finale here. Is Dirt going to be able to finish the deal? Will they drive the dagger home? Wouldn't bet against them here. Foudre, though, going to make a real run at it. I think it's probably going to be a little bit late for our top team. So we're going to see this get tighter up on the top of the table. Something as a fan of esports, you love to see it out there. As we've got quite a few of our divisions, Nathan, that are getting very, very close as we move into the second half of the season. And let's take a look now. 1K to go. One final K to go. And this push, it undulates all the way to the bottom of Libby Hill where it turns into a brick wall.
Now to the front, it is going to be Bertrich from Foudre. What can he make happen at 5.1? Looks like he's just looking to set up his teammates, actually making the pace difficult, maybe for a little bit of a lead out. Red Wolf from Art here now. ART making their way to the front. They've been a little bit involved. We have seen Loveday taking down a solid 40 points so far. Good on the Art team. Now we've got Cone, though, with Vliet. Now to the front out of the Netherlands, 9 watts per kilogram, looking for a bottom to top effort. Usually not what takes it out. It's usually the last kicks around the last couple of corners, but this is 180 beats per minute currently coming from him. Tillens, they're also out of the Netherlands, and he's going to be riding forward. Is that going to be a Dutch team? No, as I am seeing the Netherlands kit here.
All right. Well, Nathan, you talked about it, and I couldn't agree more. As when you hit the bottom of Libby, that just starts the journey up Dante's Inferno. It's going to be Castellins here is the first rider to go. Let's see if they can wheel him back. He plays that power up
He's got
very
a gap,
well.
Dave. He's got a gap.
Yeah,
That's a solid gap. They're gonna need a lot of speed here. 34 kilometers per hour. He might have done it. Caught them all out here, and it's such a tactical climb. He made it happen. Castellin is going to be to the line here, but it's Rainmakers here. Christian from Dirt as well. Wow, Dirt stacked the front of this.
Dirt did it.
I think they did, Dave. I
today.
think that's all there is to it right there. Said and done. Nicely done here from Dirt as they made their way around the course today, and perhaps they are your new leaders. Cohen might really drop today. I didn't really see them involved much at all in too much of the racing.
Yeah, so if you start factoring in Cone not having their best day and a phenomenal day for Dirt, does that move them up 2, 3, 4 points? Yes, it's going to be one of those, I think. We'll see how much. And we can always go to WTRL.racing if to follow along. There's so many divisions and leagues and all the A's, B's, C's, and D's. And man, that's the secret sauce of this is that we have literally 14,000 racers who take part in the ZRL brought to you by WTRL. We're back in with the women now, 21K into a 33K race, as you saw with the guys. It's frenetic sprinting on fan flats here in Richmond before we begin that transfer. There's one sprint on the way. That happens at Broad Street. This is the Monument Ave sprints that we've been doing and all of the power-ups that come along with them as you go under the arch. But things are looking, it's a smaller group, that's for sure, as they've been punching tickets out here. It hasn't been an easy trip, even though it is relatively flat up here in Fan Flats. These women have been having at it.
The sprint that just happened, the final sprint before they head on over toward Broad Street in just a moment here, just took place. And I want to give you guys an idea of what it looks like here for the likes of Loker to take this down in just a moment here. And from the back, well, she didn't actually take it down. She ended up in second, but I wanted to give you an idea of the back to front sprinting, looking for fastest through segment as well, I believe. But do you see how the riding of the wheels all the way through, the building of the speed all the way to 56, 57 kilometers per hour, and the way that you can just move right through with the right kick and timing, she actually almost ends up catching Pretorius there from Roca Corba, ends up in second still and didn't see that 17 watt per kilogram again. I mean, give you an idea, a lot of people, they try and set up, and I don't know if it's the best way to go. I mean, it's maybe going for fastest through segment. If she would have been a little further up, perhaps been able to catch that front rider. But it is a way to sprint, and if you time it right and you can trust the pack and you know there's enough bodies there with the pack, you can end up easily taking down the win there. Actually, we have one more to go. One more sprint to go. My mistake on that. So that was not the last sprint. But yeah, that interesting
I think
to
that
see
was
how
for
she played that.
fastest through.
You think
That
so?
really looked like fastest through segment to me. Trying to surf the group to get the best time possible. And really, honestly, trying to double dip. When you're a talent like Katie Locher, you can afford to do that. We're back in with Rico of the Castelli team. The Italians, Nathan, you've got the same feeling as me. We're seeing more and more Italians in our esports world out here. I just feel
definitely
sense
growing. Definitely, Team Italy has been all about
coming
it.
on strong.
They've been all about it. Yeah, they've really been. Look at this. WLC are not messing around. 3 on the front. And looking to work with the Italians, actually, as we do see plenty of Italian flags. They really need to jump hard here. Okay.
Well, this is a grind. This is not going to be fun for other riders. They're committed to this. I like this. This is Wahoo Nicole doing what they do.
They might make it
putting pressure on.
Draft go to the front. Interesting enough. Roca Corba is still involved, as you can see, but they've got 10 meters, Dave. And that's what you need to see.
Force. Yeah. This is a very smash mouth racing right now.
1 second. More riders going across. They have to continue, though. They can't mess around. They have to have some continuance with this. And Electric Spirit Co. are not involved. It does get dragged back together by WTRL.
They bring it back.
Yep.
There's the dynamic for you folks right there. The give and the take, though, that was very, very close to being a split. But Electric Spirit Co. was attentive enough, getting caught on a back foot for a moment there, Nathan, but quickly responding. But look at this. 1, 2, 3 riders getting put out the back door.
Yeah, it looks like actually Electric Spirit off the back here now at this point, as well as Roca Corba. So it did do damage. I mean, this is playing in WLC's favor still. And we got another rider going to go again.
They didn't blow the race up, but they certainly took the bloom off the rose back there.
That's not Brooker. It's their teammate. It looks like it's going to be Cassie, who was not involved in the last attack. They were reserving her, I believe. And she goes over the top, and I think she's just going to walk away with these points, actually.
That gap is large enough that I would have to agree with you, Nathan, as we move into the final third of this race. A little more sprinting here on Monument, a little on Broad Street, and then into Libby Hill. Now, for our women, you can see from the season, Wahoo Nicole has not missed a beat, and certainly looks like, even though the early challenge from Electric Spirit,
Did you see that little bit of a kick there? I'm going to get the replay of that because we had the points up on board here, but that was
so they go
cool.
1-2. Lizzie Brooke is really, for a triathlete, she's got some really high Q factor for racing out here.
100%.
Wahoo Nicole looking pretty good right now, Nathan. I'm not sure how the points stack up exactly, but starting to get the feeling that didn't start off their way, but they've been able to right the ship and maybe even put other teams behind the 8 ball now for the final of this race. It's finale time.
Yeah, the points are stacking up at the end here, and I feel like they've waited until the legs have softened a little bit to start taking advantage of where they shine. As you see Lizzie give a little kick. She saw Katie coming on, gave another little 10 quick there. It was like, nope, this is still mine. Holding on. And Wahoo Nicole go 1-2. I don't know if they're going to be able to challenge Loco. Loco had a pretty good gap on the points up until this section of the race, but I may be eating those words here in just a second. Locher, she has 69 points, 55 for Williams. And interesting, look at this, Dave. It's a team we haven't talked about a whole lot, but Team Italy. And they're sitting there with 3rd and 4th right now in the team point total. So great job by them. Presented by Castelli. Then Wahoo Nicole, they're really stacking it up there in the top 6 or so still with 3 riders there. So Katie really with a ton of points, but it's just the solo rider at this point who's really putting them at in that position.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a team sport. And that's really where you look at Italy now. They've got 3 riders up on the board here. Wahoo Lacole, the dominant team now, I think it's fair to say, as electricspirit.co in that orange jersey is always going to be a team to watch, no doubt. But I have to say, Nathan, I like your point about the Italians. I think they're just going to get better and better. And they are really, no team is making strides like they are out here, in my opinion. Wahoo Lacole, this is what they've been doing for a few seasons now. This is such a well-drilled team, so there's hardly any surprise when you see them have exceptional results. It's nice to see other teams up there and really challenging them, like the Castelli squad. All right, well, they're beginning that transfer now. Moving into the last part of this race, a big fastest through segment coming up, though. You only get one shot at this one, talking about Broad Street.
Look at this, Dave. Katie actually extended her lead. Wow, 81 points.
And she's got a first. So they already did Broad Street. So she's got a first and a second out there with the fastest through segments. A 20-point and a 15-point. It does score 20, 15, 10, I believe, for the first 3.
Really quickly across the race schedule with Libby Hill after party, because I think Monument for fastest through segments, it looks like it scored twice. So interesting to see. Broad Street Sprint scored once. So, but it's saying I'm trying to see what the fastest through segment, because it is saying that it scored for 50, as you're saying, 35 points. It looks like a 15-point extra on the top of there. So I'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so that's why I'm a little confused.
Yeah, same here. And I did get some questions directly from some community members asking about that. So we'll have to wait and see on some information there. I'm not positive.
That might be a little bit of a, we'll see what happens with that. One thing we do know, though, is if you look at what Loker has done, Nathan, at the first across the line, the 5 different sprints there, she's collected the Lioness's share of points. 10 for the win. So she's either first or second basically every time through.
Cast now from Roca, trying to get them back up on the board here. They do have a solid 42 points total between them. But here comes Loker again, Electric Spirit Company, making it happen with Katie Loker up and over the top, 628 watts. But no, Cassie saying
broad.
Not going to dominate. And Cassie takes it down. Loker for second, which is still big points there. Williams and Roca Corba are involved. Here comes Lizzie Brooks. So now there's 3 WSC on the front.
Now the counterattack. So if you want to get rid of Loker, you do it now because she's got to be a little bit tired after these huge efforts that she's made. 6 out of 6 sprints that she's contested. If you've got a chance to crack her, Nathan, this would be it. That's Wahoo Lacole's perspective. For electricspirit.co, they're, she's been incredible for them. She's the only rider on that team up in the top 10, but she's on top of the table. How about Amy Williams here? Quietly collecting 54 points out here is the Welsh rider for Wahoo Lacole. Cassie, who we just saw picking up that sprint, 32 points. Cabot is the first of the Castelli riders at 31. Lizzie Brooke, 5th most points gathered, 27. And then another Castelli rider, Donnie, there with 26. All right. Well, now it's time to start talking about Libby Hill and the after party.
It is a whittled down enough group here at this point that you could, with the number of WLC riders and Italian riders, just if those 2 teams just started attacking, this would completely splinter. I'm not sure anyone would be able to follow with the kind of strength that they've shown. Cassie now going to the front, getting it up into 64, 63, but it's not going to do anything on this downhill because they're all together at this point, but it could create a roll-through situation. You roll the speed at the bottom here as the rest of the pack slows down from the reality of the CDA in game, from the the headwind, the imaginary headwind that is in game, as well as it flattens out. You take that speed from the back of the pack at this -5, just kind of anticipate it and then roll through as they all slow down. You can get a solid. Yesterday, or 2 days ago in the KISS 100, I got an immediate 50 meters and 5 seconds from a roll through like that. We'll see if anybody does try that. as it is a tactic that I don't see a lot of use of. It does take some pretty good awareness as to what the speeds are, and not so much of a paying attention to watts per kilogram in watts. It has a lot more to do with speed still being king and queen when it comes to the worlds of Zwift racing out here in Richmond.
All right, we'll see if anybody wants to roll those dice, and that's a great way to put it. We've seen it work. We've seen it backfire. I mean, it's really an interesting finish. A lot to work with, though, on this template. As you can see, a constant reshuffling here in this very select group as they come under 3K to go. Haven't mentioned the draft team up here, but definitely saying that they've got at least one rider in this group. Roca Corba, Nathan, has a few jerseys in the group. They're
yeah, there's plenty of representation, isn't there, Dave?
Yeah.
Across here. Enzo Bro is still here. Lytton is
they might
here
be able to
for a
salvage
couple.
something out of this.
Italy,
yeah.
Roca Corba, WTRL got a couple of jerseys. So it isn't like there's tons of isolation. Just Italy and Team Italy and WLC and Roca Corba, the three that are really there with the is that going to be 4v4v4 really? I think that's what we're looking at here. And Loker is just completely isolated, to be honest. And that's the crazy thing, is that being such a strong sprinter, she is held. Actually, no, it's going to be Kent here. Excuse me.
She's got one teammate. Yeah.
She does have one teammate. I just noticed that on the right-hand side. But where's the other orange jersey, Dave?
Boy, after that last sprint, I saw Loker had been getting her nose up into the wind at the right moment. I have a feeling
Dave,
she's in the chase group. So yeah.
Oh, so it's up to Kent, but she's done her work.
I was talking about
105
Nathan,
points, Dave.
That's incredible. That really is, and that's even more than what we saw from Coralie. So Loker's certainly done her job. No reason to hang her head. That's for sure. I mean, as I was saying, you can only go to the pain well so many times before it ends up dry. And she got every last watt out of that. 105 points here. Wow, that's really incredible. Although that number can't quite be right, because I don't think you could get 50 FTS points. I thought it would be 20 and 20. So maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah. Wondering same here. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll sort it all out. All right. Back into, though, the racing, because this is it, Nathan. Here we go. The finish comes up.
It's going to be the question, I think, as to what they can pull off. So we did see plenty of points from them still involved. Team Italy there as well. WLC, though, going to see if they continue with their domination of this women's standings. Going into this final here, let's just take one last quick look. This is the current situation. A 3-point differentiation. And Electric Spirit Co., if they can hold on to, with Kent here, as well as Katie Loker, with what she has done so far today, will this be their day to shine because of being the Sprinter's Delight? I have a feeling it's going to be a tough ask, though, as these teams are still so well represented, almost impossible. I think Wahoo Lacole will continue their domination with the amount of representation they have here into this final climb. About a minute of everything they got to the top.
Yeah, this is a very different kind of finish than what you see anywhere else in the world here in Richmond. This cobbled climb, there's a really steep pitch, and it certainly, riders have a different mindset when it comes into this one. Some riders want to get out in front of it, but we're going to try to see, we're not going to try to, we're going to find out who is going to go the deepest here. And it looks like it's going to be Cassie. That's not a surprise here. It's going to play the first cards. This is definitely a play for her teammates right now, as Cassie's going to start the chase. This is the first chess pieces being, it splits the group, Nathan, as it won't be long until we're onto the cobbles of Libby here.
I think a little bit of a mistake was there made there, actually, Dave, as Lizzie Brooke is having to close the gap down solo here at this point. That's not what you want to see. You want to be on that wheel and drafting off of that effort there from Cassie. Cassie now off the front with the gap. It's completely split, though, and the reality of this race so far is that perhaps, Dave, I think with Cassie going off the front here, she might just be gone. But no, Lizzie Brooke coming across the 7 watts per kilogram. Are they going to go 1-2? Kent's looking to hang on and make this all worth it for Electric Spirit Co. But she's got to hold on to the Italian's wheel. But Brooke here now taking over at the front. No, her teammate Cassie continues on. 7 watts per kilogram. Final kick to the line here now, and it's going to be Cassie and Brooke. Going to go 1-2. It's done. It's over. WLC made it happen again. Brooke for second. Donnie from Castelli, Team Italy, in the conversation again. Electric Spirit Co. still with a good day. Getting another rider there in the top 5, and then it's going to be Bossellini, followed up by Nevin from Draft across the line. Great racing out there.
Welcome to the big time. Lindsay Cassie winning with panache here in Richmond, Nathan. I mean, just the fact that she holds off her teammate, Lizzie Brooke, for second there, that's a name I'm writing down in pen next to my computer here, as we're going to hear a lot more from Lindsay Cassie. Wahoo
That was bottom to top, Dave.
Yeah, that was from way out. She actually started that at 1K out, I believe.
I mean,
that's really something there.
Rarely ever see someone go bottom to top. That also might have spoken, though, to how hard the racing was out here today in this division.
And you notice that you said it, with about 10K to go, she'd been in reserve, saving herself, it looked like, for the last part of the race. Lizzie Brooke was there throughout the entire duration of the race, making things happen. But for Wahoo Nicole, that was impressive in many different ways out here. Tremendous job. And it certainly looks to me, I can't imagine a scenario where they don't collect the 20 points for the top team here and end up 4 for 4 in season 3 of 2022 in the ZRL, brought to you by WTRL. What a great race. What a great afternoon here in the United States we've had. Get to take a look at some results, but you can always investigate yourself at WTRL.racing. But Nathan, I'll throw it back to you, as it looks like you already got the A's up and ready to go from the Southwest.
Yeah, and it is going to be Jos Castellin. Oh, we got a quick little update there. There we go. Jos Castellin coming on through for Team NLA3. Solid, almost 2 seconds. Just walked away from that one. Dirt Wolfpack go second and third with Kaj Razamakers there for Dirt Wolfpack 5. Going to be Raul Christian there for Dirt Wolfpack 5 as well. Joseph Redworth coming through for 4th for Adam Team Racing Cork. It's going to be Mike Sarnecki for the Restart Racing Team, holding on for 5th. Even after that, middle of the race attack solo. Good job to restart there for 5th place. It's going to be Xavier Granet there for 6th place there for Signature. And then 7th place goes to Martin Guess, followed up by Serge Blanchi for 8th. A lot of big points for Serge as well in the sprints today for Foudre. Mauricio Herrero for Cone V Sports in 9th, and Lucas Tomasek in 10th. Cone V Sports struggling. They were the series leaders coming in, Dave, and looks like maybe going to fall down the results board just a little bit. I'm going to be really interested in what the standings are for this series, actually, after today. I'll be able to bring those up in just a moment. We'll look at the Bs, though, quickly.
All right, let's jump in and see how it sorts out. It's going to be the Frenchman Alexandre Dubs of the Frenchy Fusion Tourmalet team taking the win. Thomas Bamserud of Troublion, powered by Stages, in 2nd, and Ruerdit Monroe, ZR Scott Brerik in 3rd. Andy Kapp, the Norwegian Troublion, powered by Stages. They had 2 riders in the top 4 here in the Bs. So the Norwegian there in 4th. It's Matthew Eastwood for 6 a.m. Racing in 5th. William Zelkovich, the American, for Dirty Beast Tiger Sharks in 6th. Allison Kerr, good job, Allison. 7th place for the Scott woman in ZR Scott's team. Dean Hunt from France in 8th. Scott Meacham, 9th place today. And Richard Edgehill for 6 a.m. Racing. Another rider for 6 a.m. in the top 10. That's your Bs.
And in the C category, Dale Williams comes on through for 2 quick, 2 dirty. Solid 1.41 seconds over the top of Libby Hill, ahead of Edward Chai for LD Ham Headers. It's going to be Nando Malanito for ECB Benjamin. Javier Claquel for ECP Benjamin as well. It's going to be Manuel Rotella. They're going to go 3, 4, and 5 for that ECB team. It's going to be in 6th place, Andrew Springer for 2 quick, 2 dirty in 6th. Nick G in 7th for LD Ham and Hairs. It's going to be Angel Luis Viel Gomez for ECB Benjamin in 8th. It's going to be Mick Woods, TFC Blizzard in 9th, and John Simpson rounding out your top 10. TFC Blizzard there for your C's in the EMEA Southwest Division 1. On over to the women's results, for today, the racing that we just saw. And it is going to be at the top of North Div 1. We saw Cassie, the Wahoo Lacole domination today.
Yeah, great job, Lindsay. What an impressive finish there. And look at the watts that she was making as well, far and above the rest of the field. And the unbelievably efficient Lizzie Brooke in second there for Wahoo Lacole. That's your top two, with the Italian Team Italy presented by Castelli Ciaradoni in third. Laura Kent for Electric Spirit Co. ends up with the fourth place for Spirited electricspirit.co effort out there. Chanticleer is the team. Team Italy, another rider in the top 5, Beatrice Boccalini. You've then got the Norwegian Anne Nevin for Draft ZRL in 6th. Sonia Foots from New Zealand for WTRL Firestorm in 7th. Another Italian flag there, Fabia Maramotti for Italy, Castelli in 8th. It's Enrica Harmsen Pretorius, South Africa's Roca Corba rider in 9th. And then the Welsh woman, Amy Williams for Wahoo Lacole. That puts 3 Wahoo riders in the top 10 at the finale, and certainly a great day collectively for the team. Back to you, Nathan, for the Bs.
In the B category, I think they're out racing still. We're going to have you heading over to WTRL.racing for those results. We may quickly see if we can, I know we do get a lot of questions about jumping in across the other categories. The main struggle there, everybody, is just being able to even find them out on course. Cassie's actually still doing a cool down. We can bring her image, the image of her still out on Richmond, actually. What is this actually? She's coming into the finishing straight here, it looks like still. Yeah, it looks like it. I'm not sure we're going to be able to bring in any of the other categories. I am looking for them right now. It's not going to make any promises as we look to try and jump around.
We've got a lot of racing coming up later today. Certainly America's East, always a lot of fun to watch. I always look forward to that
East
one.
And America's West. It looks like no-go, though, everybody. Apologies on that. I do like to jump across when we can, but not going to be able to do so. So quickly, I just want to, we missed the action was left and right. Our 5K to go hero, we didn't call out actually at 5K to go. And I just want to give a shout out with the carry that Katie Loker was today for her team and the Electric Spirit Company. They may not have won on the day on the points, but she did an amazing job of showing up for Electric Spirit Co. and showing that she is a part of that Sprinter's Delight out here today, that when it just comes to the line. And I'm excited to see what she's able to pull off tomorrow. So I'm going to go ahead and give that award to Katie Loker out there today, because it was really an impressive job by her to help keep that team in contention across that North Division. Thanks a lot, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to head over to WTRL.racing for the rest of the results. If you haven't done so as well, it's a big help to the channel if you do hit the like, subscribe, comment, do all that kind of stuff. You will get notifications. You turn on that notification bell anytime that we do go live or schedule a new broadcast. Dave, some of the best racing still to come, though, and that is going to be tonight, obviously, for America's East. We've got quite the battle. One of the hottest battles, we've seen in a long time in America's East for the women's side of things, because Ride has been absolutely dominating in seasons past, but it seems like there's a little bit of a chink in their armor, or some of the other teams perhaps have just been stacking up a little bit and are ready to compete.
Yeah, tune in to find out. That's for sure. We also have tomorrow, if you didn't have a chance last week to check the Zwift Knockout Series, well, we're moving into round 2. It's elimination racing going on tomorrow. It's going to be an absolute blast. Some of the stars that you've gotten to know already through Zwift racing, you're going to get to see them in a whole new format that's been tremendously exciting. So come join us tomorrow as well, not just in a few hours, when we'll be back with the America's East and the women.
All right, we'll see you guys in just a couple hours for America's East. As always, thanks for tuning in, and ride on.